I can hear you. Oh, man, I love the Star Wars time show fans. They're the best, right? They're all
On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick are going tier listing now that Andor Season 2 has run dry. They'll be ranking some of the most iconic starships from Star Wars to find out which ones are S tier and which ones are better off as scrap metal. Tune in to see where your favorite spaceship shakes out. Of course, they'll end the show with a question of the week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. Punch it, Chewie.
Hey now, everybody! We're here and we're ready for our technology to fail us. Who knows if I can hear Nick? I might hear him in stereo. Hopefully you all are hearing him. You heard some tests there right before we went live. So we're trying to avoid last week's snafu. And if you were here last week and you were live, you got to participate in that fun. I threw a little bit of a tantrum. Basically, it was like, I quit the show! And then I can't quit because I have basically it's impossible for me to give up anything, even if it feels like I'm ramming my head into the wall. Perfect example is golf. You know, golf, it's a hard game. I thought I was getting better at it, but it seems the more I play, the worse I get. If anyone is a golfer out there, that might resonate with you. But currently, Nick, you know, I've got a little outside setup, virtual golf. You know, I got like my own little Top Golf on the deck. It's kind of neat. I was thinking it'd be fun for the summer, you know, something to do. And sure enough, it's broken my game to the point where I can't hit some of the easiest wedges anymore. They just go straight sideways. I'm hitting them off the hosel, yet I won't stop swinging. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll figure it out on this swing.
Is it do you think it's the real grass versus fake grass thing?
No, I think I'm an asshole, honestly.
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here, Matt. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know me. I love praise, and I love having my bucket filled, and I love being told that I'm awesome. But in this case, I can tell you right now, it has everything to do with the fact that I've been playing for over 30 years and have never had a lesson. So, at almost 45, I finally decided enough's enough. I'm tired of driving myself nuts, and I'll be getting my first lesson on the 23rd. So,
hired a golf pro. He's going to be taught by Happy Gilmore. So to control his rage and then put that into his drives.
That's right. You should. The way I hear Nick now with this fix I'm trying, it sounds like he's in a submarine. But I'll get through it. It's not his fault. Does he sound all right to everyone else? I'm guessing he does.
Yeah,
I think this is a me thing.
Do I sound solid? Do I sound good? Hit me with it. Based and brazen, aka B Mad. For those of you who are confused in the chat, that is B Mad, based and brazen. So. Let us know how I sound. If I sound like I'm underwater talking through a can, Nick sounds good, says divided. And then Lee's given us two gold Vaders. So that's good. He sounds like he's right next to me, but that could be the Force talking. That's true. We do speak through the microphones and through the Force, B Mad. You know that. So I think we're okay on the fan side, on the listener end.
All right. I turned off the fix because, like I said, I don't think you and I need it. I think this is going to be a thing if we ever try to call someone into the show again. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Yeah, it was. I think what it is because your feed, because we broadcast vertically and in landscape, you have two pipes coming in. So I was kind of hearing them, and there was like a slight millisecond delay that was giving you that robot effect here.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Hey, it's good to see some people in there. That's right. B Mad renamed himself. What's going on with that, brother? No more support in your dealership or whatever.
And he's got he's got the new picture too.
He's a changed man. Hello there, A.S. Sajad. Welcome from the vertical land. Bango, we hear you. We feel you. As has been the case this year, we're just trying to avoid talking about that stuff on the show because it really doesn't do anyone any good. But you guys know where we're at on all that stuff. I think it's if you're a long-time listener, I think it's pretty clear where Nick and I lie. We are with the rebellion.
Yes.
You're part of George's Viet Cong, which was his original inspiration for the Rebel Alliance way back in the 70s. So we're with you, but it's just, it ain't worth talking about because it is pretty fucking sad. It's pretty sad, and we'll leave it at that. But let's just say a lot
Chef
of us
says we'll go ahead. Sorry. No, one of the questions in the chat, will Django and Boba's Slave One be ranked as one or two different? I think it's the same ship, right?
Chev, we kept it same ship, and we're not calling it Boba Fett's Starship. It is the Slave One. It always will be the Slave One. Thank you. Hey there, Mertcan Lazaguzalu. How's it going?
All right.
Oh, look at B-Mad getting into the AI. Dig it. All right, yeah. So the state of the country is what it is. Hopefully you're a little panicked by it. If you're enjoying it, then I don't know. I question the way you were raised. How's that? And you definitely don't believe in Jesus, that's for sure. All right, but enough of that type of stuff. I can already tell I've got the browser jacked up on the vertical feed, so I'm going to try and fix that. But in the meantime, Nick, it is time for Ask Us Anything. We do it every week if the social media algorithms will let us. This week, it seemed to fail pretty hard on Instagram, so we only got responses from Discord and YouTube, but we'd love all of you. Come join out. We post this stuff on our YouTube post channel, whatever the hell that's called. Post in our Discord, Instagram, Twitter. You can ask us whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Star Wars. People ask us what we like to eat. What do we dream of when we take care of ourselves in the bathroom? You never know what type of question you will get on this show.
Yeah. I mean, this
Bango's going
first
to be the
question
Luthen
here.
to my Mothma. That's right. I'm going to keep the public face up, Bango. You start doing all the behind the scenes organizing.
You get the organization going. But yeah, Matt, this first question's directed right at you from our boy Michael Kramer.
All right,
I know your feelings on this.
I'm going to take Bango's real quick, Nick.
Okay, yeah. All right,
and I don't know if you've seen these because I know you're not on socials as much as me, which I am jealous of. But have you seen the new? I mean, I think it started religious vlogs, like they'd have, Mary. She vlogged having Jesus. But it's now moved into Star Wars where they have stormtroopers. They're essentially influencers, and they got that camera angle and they're vlogging their day on the Death Star, and it's pretty. They're pretty entertaining. I don't know if Nick's seen them. I've seen a bunch of the Star Wars ones. There's Yeti ones. There's Bigfoot ones, and then, like I said, I believe they started with the Christianity stuff. And as far removed as I am from religion and Christianity, I must say that they're pretty damn cool. Like if that's how I was taught the Bible, maybe I'd still be into it, but it's hard for me to be into something when I see those that believe in it, how they wield it against others. So that's one of the main reasons I've left religion and think it's mostly a sham. If it still brings you something, that's fine, but it's an absolute joke, especially when it's used in the name of persecution. Jesus would not like humanity right now if he actually existed, nor would God, because God used to, if you read the Old Testament, we pop off a little bit, he'd be like, fuck you guys, and nuke the planet. Okay.
Yeah. Flood the whole zone.
So. Let's go. All right. Sorry, Nick. Let's go ahead and get those questions up here.
Yeah.
See a browser. All right. So yeah, that's first one definitely for me, right? Coming from Kramer, asking about my new number one, my new starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mr. Aaron Conspiracy Theorist Rodgers. Woohoo! Here you go. I mean, no joke, I'm all for it. I do not like Aaron Rodgers, but that's why I like this move. Because I am willing to go through whatever it takes to actually affect real change at the Steelers organization, which is showing ownership that you can't just piss off every offseason and dick around and not pay players, not retain great players. But B, more importantly, to retire Mike Tomlin's ass from the Pittsburgh Steelers sidelines. The guy is a loser. I don't give a shit about this never losing season. It means nothing. He hasn't won a playoff game in almost 10 years at this point in time. We're talking 2016. They do nothing. They get in the playoffs and get absolutely clobbered. They always lose a bunch of games down the stretch. Mike Tomlin's message is tired in Pittsburgh, and he needs to go. And I think bringing in a nut job like Aaron Rodgers is the first step in alleviating that pain for me. So I look at it this way, Mike and Nick. The best solution, this guy has a pull out of his ass season and the Steelers magically win a Super Bowl, which I give about a 0.1%.
Yeah.
The other hand, like I said, it turns the organization into a dumpster fire, kind of like he did with the Jets for a little bit, and I might actually cycle out some coaches and get some new minds in there and some change. And which would also give me a better draft pick in 2026 and not down towards the end of the 20s and 30s where you're not going to actually get a talent. So I love Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. And my biggest thing with this Will Howard, I don't want Aaron to screw Will up in the head. Outside of that, I don't care if Will plays or not. Yeah.
Gets him on the ayahuasca train, and then this guy's just fucking who knows where. So Matt, I have a question. So we've talked about Steeler football a lot on this show in the beginning section. Who is your ideal replacement for Tomlin? Do you have one in mind? Is it Ryan Day?
No, Ryan Day needs to now stay in Columbus. Like, I used to hate him, but now he can do no wrong. You bring me a title, you're golden. You're golden. You're golden. You like Urban Meyer, complete trash bag human. Still appreciate that he brought a title and kind of changed the culture here. So no, Ryan Day stays. Nick, I don't give a shit. I really don't care. It could be one of these bum coaches that cycles through the league every 3 years. I just want someone new. I mean, you got to understand, I think we're the longest tenured coach team in the NFL now that Belichick left. It's just
Yeah,
it's 20 years of just bullshit at this point in time. So get them out.
Dula Kate says, genuinely don't care about football, but go Birds.
All right, Kate, don't worry. We're moving on. That's it with the football questions. We got you. We hear you. All right, Nick, here we go. Coming from Barron's Black Series. What is your earliest memory you can think of? Blanche and I were discussing how our son should be solidifying his first memory possibly, and how it could have possibly been the air show this past weekend. Do you have one, Nick? I mean, I can't say first. I'm at the age now where all I have are flashes of my life. Does that make sense? Where you'll get like a buzz through your head and like, oh yeah, I remember that moment, even though I might have been 3.
So here's what happens to me sometimes, because as most parents do, especially in and around Matt and I's age group, we had photo album, like real photo albums you could flip through and see these pictures when you were a child and stuff like that. So I have a lot of what I think to be memories, but what I think they actually are me remembering seeing the pictures and then coming up with a memory in my head.
Yeah, your brain's filling them in.
Yeah, but the one that I know is a real memory and that I've remembered since I was probably 3 or 4, around that area, was in my bedroom, sitting down on my bed and playing the original Nintendo with my dad. So like he got me a Nintendo for whatever it was, and I remember sitting down and we were playing Super Mario Brothers, where like back in the day, he played a turn and then I played a turn, he played a turn, I played a turn. If he died, then it was my turn to go as Luigi and stuff like. So that is the one that I know is a real memory that I didn't see a picture of and then fill in, was playing Nintendo with my dad.
Yeah, Nick, I think 3's about where I'm at too. Unfortunately, a lot of my young memories are bad ones, which makes sense if you think about it. If you go through trauma as a little kid, that might stick with you, even though you've tried to bury it. So I've got one memory of my dad. He had probably been drunk, came in. I just had like this new Explorer's tool belt, like cheap plastic binoculars and a compass, and it was on the floor. And for whatever reason, he just came in with his boots and fucking smashed it right in front of my face. It wasn't like,
that'll stick with you.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, I was being bad, or no, I don't want to put it away. It just came in and went like, wah, 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 and kind of smiled and walked away. I was like, oh, okay. But if you want a positive memory, there's a reason I'm in therapy, people. If you want a positive memory with the old man, I do remember him taking me to Return of the Jedi in 1983. We went to Children's Palace first, which used to be a toy store chain, at least in the Pittsburgh area. And he let me get a toy from the movie, which was probably bad, because in the movie, all I could think about was the toy sitting in the car. But I do remember watching Return of the Jedi in the theaters with my father, who gave me my other earliest memory of being a dickhead. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Good stuff.
Hey, one good and one bad, happens.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, we, I was talking about my dad last week in therapy. There's not a lot of positive memories. The more I try to think about it, just they're not there. It's okay though. It's okay. All right, this one coming from Divided Skywalker. Hey there, G-Force. Welcome to the game. Would you rather never have to eat again or never have to sleep again? This is a great one, Nick.
Bro, those are 2 of my favorite things to do. I would choose never have to sleep again. 100%. Yeah. I love food.
Yeah.
And I struggled with insomnia for a long time, and now I've gotten to the point to where it's not as bad anymore, but I still am what I would consider a night owl.
Do you sleep though, Nick? Even though you have to stay up late, do you actually feel like you sleep, or are you where I'm at, where I just feel like I lay down for 4 hours and then my eyes wake up?
So that was what my situation was up until very recently. I'm talking within the last 8 to 12 months. It's just like, okay, I'm up till 2 a.m. Let me go lay down in my bed for 6 hours. Okay. And then when I wake up at 8 a.m., I feel like, what did I even do? All I remember is just tossing and turning and not sleeping. I will say that the things that have helped me most with that have been consistent meditation. Like I meditate 25 to 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
Are we talking transcendental?
It's guided, so I do guided meditations. I use the Balance app, and look, I don't typically talk about like products and stuff here, but that is something that has been a huge help for me.
Yeah, let's get a sponsorship, Balance. Let's go.
Hey, let's do it. But yeah, that has helped me a lot with sleeping. And then you know, the Earth's green goddess has helped me as well.
She can like help me kind of start the doze, but if I don't capitalize on that, because I'm usually down in the basement, so I think if I just stayed on the couch dozing out, I might actually sleep for 3 hours. But I wake I get up, go upstairs, and by that point it's like, well, sweet, might as well have just stayed up at this point in time.
Yeah, but that's what's helped me. So,
yeah.
So I would choose to never sleep.
I'm with Nick too. I mean, listen, I love a lot of drugs, as they call them. I think they're fantastic, especially the ones that grow right out of the earth and they're not refined by man. So you know which ones I'm talking about. But I still think food is probably the strongest drug for me. That's why it's so hard to kind of live the way I do and not eat whatever the hell I want. I mean, I've learned that I'm one of these people out there, and I guess this is a real thing, but I never knew that some of you can eat and actually feel full. You know, just have a few bites of food and your brain shuts off the I need to eat. I don't have that. Like I can eat and eat and eat, Nick, until food starts backing up my esophagus, which I used to do. Like I would binge and gorge so much that I'd be laying in bed and food would start coming back up into my mouth, like acid reflux, real bad. So I love eating. So fuck sleep. I haven't slept in probably 10 years. I more or less just lay in bed and know that laying there for a few hours is better than not. So that's it.
Yeah. No, I've definitely struggled with like that.
Hey there, Victor.
I've struggled with the acid reflux as well, and like I've since been able to like kick that, get over that.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore because I don't binge eat anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that was something for me too, is like if I was stoned, I could just eat and eat and eat all day long, not stop at all. And like now it's that cognizant feeling. It's like, even when you're high, hey man, just calm down a little
It's
bit.
funny. Like I can go all week. Like I'm an everydayer. I'm not hiding anything. I can go all week, stick to my sub 1,000 calorie diet. Once my, the open weekend comes around, it'll be, Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Yeah, I need a bowl of cereal or two. Sure. I need that after I just had a huge dinner and ice cream. And if I could ever figure that out, I would truly be ripped year round. All right. Good one there. Is that it? Is that all the questions?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
All right. That is it this week, my friends. So, like I said, if you want to get involved, look for the prompt on our socials if you actually see us in your algorithm, which I don't think is the case for most people. That's why you should join the Discord. We got an open link here in this YouTube video description. And while you're thinking about joining stuff, we do have channel memberships. If you see the people in here with the little Vader cat next to their name, they are channel members. That's one of your perks. Plus, we get custom emojis like the, Tic Tac Thrawn. We've got an Ahsoka, a Mando, the Golden Vader trophy. You name it. Give it a thought. Give it some consideration. SWTS channel membership is low as $1.99. I did sign up for Sir Dork's membership now that he's, I don't know if you knew this, Nick, but Jared is fully dedicating himself to content creation. He's no longer working for the man. So I was like, you know what?
I did see that.
He's one of our people. We need to be one of his. So I'm paying for that. Not through our coffers. It's through my own money. But yeah, I sub to Sir Dork. Everyone go check him out, man. He's climbing. He's almost at 250,000 subs. Love the kid. He's an all-star.
Yeah, man.
He's one of the big names that still kind of farts around with us little fish. So appreciate him all the time. All right. So if you're here, you looked at the titles. I never know how you get here. I mean, a lot of you diehards, I love you. I know why you're here, and we appreciate that. But today, our big special topic is, and this is going to be a fun one because we haven't done tier lists in a while, but we're going to tier list rank 60 of the more iconic starships from Star Wars. I realize I probably missed out a few of your favorites. I probably put in some that might technically not be starships. Nick and I will discuss that, and we might fight over it and have a pissing match. You never know. But before we get there, we always do a little pop culture talk. And, I checked out some movies. Plus, I got a new little device I'd like to talk about. So real quickly, before we get to the tier ranking of Star Wars most iconic starships, let's talk some film, all right? Let's talk a little film.
Let's do it.
So, John Wick, fantastic franchise. It gets a little too long in the tooth in film 3 and definitely film 4. I mean, film 4 is like 4 hours of just John Wick wicking. I love Keanu, but, sometimes enough's enough. But either way, I like the universe. I watched The Continental on Peacock. So, I mean, it really has its own little world now. So when Ballerina was coming out starring the lovely Ana de Armas, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, Keanu's in it. We all love Keanu. I didn't know. I mean, fucking Lance Reddick. This is his last spot. I mean, the dude died in 23, yet he has a role in this film. So they must have shot this a long ass time ago, and it just took forever to get to theaters. But listen, it's good. Like Anna, she already kind of has the spy thriller chops from that Ghosted movie on Apple TV Plus. So I bought into all that. They actually do allow her to get beat up by men, which is kind of cool because sometimes, women action heroes, they're taking on gigantic men. And it's like, yeah, I get it. It's the movies, but a little realism, I mean, how many little neck twirls can a girl do before a guy's, like, you know what? I have testosterone, you don't. So they kind of account for that in this film. There's good exchanges with John Wick. We got Norman Reedus pops up in there. Listen, it's good. I mean, it returns to the earlier John Wick where it kind of stays focused. It's not bloated. I'd argue it probably still could have been under 2 hours, but if you like the Wick verse, you can't really go wrong with this type of stuff.
Yeah. I haven't seen 4. I've seen 1 through 3. I really enjoyed them, but yeah, I mean, even towards 3, it was like, okay, we're like pushing 2 hours, 45 minutes for this film here, and he's just shooting a shitload of people. It's fun. It's fun though. I may check out Ballerina when it comes out on HBO nice. Or whatever it does.
and then just because I got that AMC Stubbs A-list, 4 movies a week, $23 a month, one of the best deals out there. I was like, you know what? I'll go check out Dangerous Animals, starring, Hyde Courtney. He's been in also Suicide Squad. He was in that Spartacus series. He's kind of a big, thick Aussie guy. But I was like, this Dangerous, I never even heard of it. Didn't see any promotions for it. Somehow it's in movies, Nick. And, it's kind of about sharks and a serial killer and a surfer. And I took it on, and I'll tell you what. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. There's definitely some tense moments in there as this surfer is going through her kidnapping / about to be murdered by sharks experience. Some good fighting. It's just a good kind of serial killer shark movie hybrid. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't think it's anything you need to rush out and see in films, but if it's something that pops up on your streamers one day and you're like, you know what, I need something to kill an hour and a half, hour 40, Dangerous Animals would not be a waste of your life. Okay?
There you go. The only thing that I saw this weekend was, if you're a Kevin Smith fan or if you follow Kevin Smith movies, Dogma re-released this weekend in theaters for a very limited run. Kevin finally was able to get the rights for that movie back from Harvey Weinstein. So he's
Rapestein.
Yes, indeed. So he was able to get the rights back. Dogma, 25 years ago is when it released. 25 years ago, I remember seeing that when I was probably too young to see it. But
it's with Damon and Affleck play Fallen Angels, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Damon and Affleck together playing Fallen Angels. It's an interesting movie. I would call it like an anti-religion religious movie where it's like, there's a lot of, I wouldn't call it condemnation, but like conversation around like the church's role in society, all through a very comedic, like Kevin Smith lens. But I think if you're a person who's like critical of like organized religion, it's an interesting movie to watch, but also still want to hold on to those like remnants of faith. If you've never seen Dogma, I would say go see it. It's worth a watch if you're a Kevin Smith fan. But yeah, that was what I caught. That was what I caught.
I need to fire up Jay and Silent Bob again. It's been a while. I used to watch the shit out of the movie. I mean, I had his rap memorized. I can't even do it. It was like, fuck, motherfuck, fuck, schnoich, schnoich, schnoich. Booga, booga. It was one of the greatest, man. Carrie Fisher in it playing that nun. I mean, Mark Hamill as what was that character's name?
Cockknocker.
Yeah, Cockknocker. Yeah. Man, that was good stuff. And then really the sequel he did many years later, I remember, wasn't too bad either. So I'm always always have enjoyed
Jay and Silent
Kevin.
Bob reboot.
Yeah. But man, that song. What is that song? Someone linked that to me. That was just one of the best Jay songs ever. That's in Jay and Silent Bob, right? That's not from Clerks or any other ones. Is it?
That's from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back for sure. Yeah, that's from Jay and Silent Bob.
Noise. Oh, he starts singing about blunts and you rolling blunts or something like that. So I love it. All right, real quick.
Asked me, he says, "Do you spend the whole day absorbing knowledge?" I mean, as weird as it is to say, like, the way that I have now started to absorb knowledge is mostly through like podcasts and stuff, and that's almost completely taken over my music listening. Sometimes I am somebody who likes to intake knowledge, whether it is of something that I know about or something that I have completely no idea about. Like I do enjoy just learning things, but I also don't like to, like, I'm not going to sit there and just like learn things about my job. Like I find that to be very boring. So like I like to learn things about like different aspects of life or different things that I don't know about. So that's what
amen. All my knowledge is in pop culture or artificial intelligence. I pretty much consume AI every day. I read about it, I use it, I study it, and then pop culture. Like I'm on top of it. I've got the pulse of the nation. Unfortunately, it's a shitty pulse right now, and probably for a long time. All right, before we get into the Star Wars, one last little pop culture talk item here, and that's the Switch 2. Okay.
Oh, Matt got it. He got it.
I know young Nick was trying to look for it. I'm sure a lot of you other gamers, especially older gamers that always had FOMO when you were young that you weren't going to get a new console. So now you've made it your mission to always get new consoles on launch day. That's where I'm at. And really that's how I want to start my review of the Switch 2. That's the only reason I got this thing. It has nothing to do with, I needed it. I had to play the new Mario Kart. It was all, Matt needs to have consoles on day one to feel better about himself. The Switch 2, is it an improvement over the Switch 1? Of course. I mean, it's much bigger. It's kind of like the size of a Steam Deck, but not as fat. Okay, it's just as thin as a Switch. Screen's way bigger. It feels good in the hands. The magnetic Joy-Cons are pretty freaking cool. Okay, but that's about it. Outside of that, it's literally a Switch TOO. It's also a Switch. Nice. It reminds me of iPhone upgrades, even though I'm an Apple Kool-Aid drinker. It's the same fucking device, just not even new software on the Switch 2. Everything about it looks the same. The home screen is identical. I honestly think the Switch OLED is a better overall screen than the LCD on the Switch 2. And the real kicker, Nick, is there's only 2 exclusive titles for the Switch 2 right now.
It's the Mario Kart, and what's the other one?
Mario Kart World, and an exploratory, this is the capabilities of the Switch 2 game, very similar that came out with the Switch. It's like there's a game on there to show you how to use the new mouse features of the new Joy-Cons, and that's it. Everything else are either upgrades to existing games or games from the bigger boy platforms that now can be played on the Switch 2, like Cyberpunk 2077. So
I was angling to try to get one. How did you end up getting one? You were just found it at a retailer?
Neighbor works at Costco, so he got the down low, and he was tracking inventory and how many people were in line, and he actually ran over there and sat in line for me before his shift. So
dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, just good stuff, it's the power of networking, people. As much as I don't like meeting friends or new people at this point in my life, you cannot discount the power of your personal network. I mean, it's something I've relied on many times in my past, and if I ever need work or an opportunity, it's something I'd probably send up the bat signal again for. So, I got one. New Mario Kart, sure, it's cool. looks like Mario Kart, plays like Mario Kart. There's a few new pickups like fast food bags for speed. They can also change your character costume. There's the Mario feather you can get now, so you can do spin jumps. The flower now is an ice flower instead of fire, at least on certain levels, and that's about it outside the new endurance mode, which is just 6 laps. And there's like, first lap, only 20 make it. Second lap, 12 make it. Third lap, 4 make it. Last lap, it's going for number 1. So there you go.
Yeah.
Unless you have strong FOMO for owning new hardware, I can assure every one of you out there that did not get one, you're not missing a damn fucking thing. Nothing.
Yeah. I signed up for on Nintendo.com. Like, you can sign up for like an invite when they get their stock back in. So I just signed up for that. I was like, if it comes in and I get an email, they said I can get one, then I'll get it that way. But I tried to do some hunting when the pre-orders first came out and got close to getting a pre-order. Like, I had one in cart at both Walmart and Best Buy, and then just got botted out of it. So that was my attempt. And then I looked on release day just to see if there was anywhere in my area that had them, and they were all gone.
You know what, man? I honestly think, the diehards, sure, they bought a bunch of units at launch, but I think because it's not getting this big word of mouth bump or, oh, this is killer software, you need to upgrade kind of talk around here, I could see people probably finding it in the wild in another month or two, honestly. Because Nintendo, they're a lot better than Sony and Microsoft at supply. So I could see the Switch 2 being available end of summer. If not, you might just get lucky one week walking in. I don't think it's one of these things where as soon as it hits the shelves, it's going to disappear, because there's really nothing driving it outside of a gamer's need to have the new hardware. There's no killer software that you have to own this for.
Yeah.
Dusk Bloods, Matt will hate it for sure. Yeah, I probably, it's not even on my radar, probably because of that. Yeah, Souls games are stupid. Yeah, League, stick with your OLED Switch. Trust me, Mario Kart World, you're not really missing much on. All right, so we got through all that jazz. Now let's talk a little bit about Star Wars on a show that bills itself as the Star Wars Time Show. All right. That makes sense for everyone, people here.
I think it's time to get into it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Your local goat. You're kind of speaking my mind on the Switch too. I don't know if I'd call it I guess it is slightly scammy, because it really is just a Switch TOO, as I said. But we're moving on.
That's kind of the same thing that happened with the Wii and then the Wii U, right?
Nick, I'm hearing a lot of those. This is the Wii U moment for the
criticisms.
Switch. Yeah. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Nintendo tries. I can't bash on them too hard. All right. I'll tell you what, though. Did you see that fucking portable Xbox, ROG Xbox thing?
I did see that.
I don't even know. What is ROG? Can you explain that to me? Is that like PC
so ROG is just, it's Asus Republic of Gamers, which is their like, Asus has their standard hardware line for any, PC that you would buy, but then their like gaming tier stuff is ROG. So that's just like their tag for like gaming specific hardware. So they've partnered with Xbox to make that.
You need to look at this thing, Nick, because it sounds like it might attach to other storefronts, or at least games that, if you buy a PC game that plays on Windows, but also Xbox, it's going to play on this thing. There's 2 different models. One sounds more like the PS Portal, where the other is kind of like a fucking pimped out Steam Deck connected to Microsoft's shit. So yeah. I didn't dive deep enough into like, will it play my Steam games? Because if that's the case, I'm getting rid of the fucking Steam Deck and I'm going to this thing from Microsoft. It's coming holiday 2025. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It looks like a pretty legit handheld for sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, BMAD, we're going to keep calling you BMAD. BMAD says the Portal is nice because they offer streaming now. See, I bought a Portal at release, and I could never I have a really strong, like over 1 gig internet at the house. I could be downstairs trying to play my PS5, and it just fucking didn't do it. Like, it didn't work. And it would always lag. It would disconnect or anything. So if I can connect it, if I could just play it streaming over the cloud or whatever and not have to directly connect to my PS5, then I would probably start to play that again.
You can, but you
but
need
yeah,
you need one of their high tier subscriptions to do that.
I think I do have it still, because when
All
they
right.
first came out with it, I did that like whatever, the 2 or 3 year one.
Yeah,
that
that's
you could
weird.
do.
You might want to fire it up because there's been a few updates on the portal, Nick. Because I can play it literally outside.
Did you have to like change any of your Wi-Fi settings or anything, or was it just like straight up good?
Nope.
Yeah, because
I mean, I have
Eero mesh.
Yeah,
system.
I have an Orbi repeater like up in my family room, which is the room where we walk out to the deck. But it's like a 2-bar signal, and I'm able to do it. So maybe download some patches. Who knows? But here we go.
Check it out.
Here we go. All right, we've made it. It's time to rank out using the tier system 60 of the more iconic starships from Star Wars. Like I said, I'm sure I missed some. I just heard from Beyond the Dune Sea. Connor hit me up and he's like, "Oh, dude, you beat us by a week." Apparently, they're doing a Starship tier list next week, and they have 86 to go through.
86.
So those guys, they go way deep into the weeds. So you can check out their breakdown next week. But we got 60, and I think I captured the ships that most fans, even if they don't know the name, they can look at and be like, "Hot damn, I know what that is. I like it. It is
we got
A-tier,
the coolest
S-tier."
60.
That's right.
Yeah, we got the
right.
cool
We
60.
got the best ones.
So.
And they cheated off us anyways. They copied everything. So. I'm just kidding. But I there is one I already know that I missed, your buddy Phil reminded me of it. But Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter from Attack of the Clones. Yeah. Quality, don't worry, I included the ETA2s, so we do have some Jedi Starfighters, but here we go. I mean, there's no real order here. They're not broken out by trilogy, era, or animated. They're just how the system uploaded all the images I threw at it. And here we go. So our first ship, if you're playing along, I know most of the names of these. I'll try my best. Some of them I might have to scratch the brain matter or go to the internets or my AI companion, but I'm pretty sure I can remember at least model and or the name. So the first one we got there, Nick, it kind of stood out in the sequel trilogy, especially The Force Awakens. There's kind of a memeable moment of it in The Last Jedi. More! And we're talking about Kylo Ren's command shuttle. So it had those triangular flap wings and then, the hull in the middle of it. Kind of a unique looking ship. It had some Empire vibes to it, but not fully, black hull, red windshield. Kind of cool sound. We didn't really get much of it outside of landing and hovering. So I'll start the ranking with Nick. What do you think about Kylo Ren's command shuttle? Where does it go on this list?
So are we ranking this purely off of like cool factor, or like if we're getting in a dog fight?
However it resonates with you, man. Like this is completely opinion based. Like it could be the shittiest ship when it comes to dog fights, but if you love it and you think it's S tier, then fight for it.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I do think that the aesthetic of this ship is pretty cool, but we don't have any like battle statistics on it. Didn't look like it was gonna, while that moment was happening, like you were saying, Matt, Kylo's there, more. That ship wasn't shooting. It was the walkers that were firing and everything like that. So I would say, because it looks cool, but the battle capability is low, I would put this at like maybe a high C or B tier.
Okay, all right. Starting with a C. I can see that. I mean, listen, it is a command shuttle, so we have a lot of shuttles to talk about. I do not think this is one of the cooler looking shuttles in Star Wars, so I'm kind of with Nick. I think it's B, C tier, and the fact that he led with C, I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. And we're taking the command shuttle to the land of seas. Here we go.
Eat that, Kylo.
Fuck off, Mr.
Your
Moore.
other ship will probably be on here, so we'll rank that one a little better.
Dick. All right, so the next ship we have to talk about, this is I believe it's the BTLB Y-Wing from the Republic era. This would be the predecessor to the Rebellion era Y-Wing, Nick. We mostly got to see it in action in the Clone Wars cartoons, especially Season 7. Right there at the end, this is what I believe Rex used to get off of the Republic cruiser that his brothers essentially were helping to crash just so they could kill Ahsoka. So it's the predecessor to the Y-Wing. Rex whipped one, I believe, but that's really about it for the BTLB Republic era wing. What do you think about this one?
So predecessor to the Y-wing, pretty cool looking design. I mean, it's got those like yellow stripes going down it. You got those like standard Y-wing engines coming off the side. Looks pretty cool overall. I mean, we didn't see too much of it, as you said. Like, I could see this being like a B tier battleship, can do some damage, has a nice little bit of flair. We know where it goes once its like evolution comes through. So maybe B tier for this one, I was thinking.
Yeah, like I said, it's not as, I like the Y-wing because the Y-wing looks like they just forgot to finish building it, and it felt very Rebellion era correct, where this is almost too clean. So I'm with you. I still dig it. I like that it kind of set the stage for the Rebels Y-wing, but it's no better than a B. I'm with you. So there you go. Republic era Y-wing. You are B tier at best. All right, moving right along. We're now it actually takes the images off. Nice. Maybe it did that before. It's been a while. Anyways, we most recently saw this ship in live action during Ahsoka Season 1. This is her Jedi T6 Starfighter. Pretty cool ship. It's big. It's almost, it's like a freighter size. It can fly vertically. It can fly horizontally. It can sit there and spin around like a motherfucking pinwheel to avoid laser fire in a dogfight. Is this the one that she hid in the mouth of a Purrgil as well, Nick? I can't remember, but if it is, it can even fly in Purrgil mouths to get to other galaxies. I don't know. Well, let's see what you have to say about Ahsoka's T6, Nick. What do you think about this bad boy? She basically lived on it. I mean, she had a training quarters. They got the table there. Remember, the table raises out of the floor and goes down. So some cool features inside as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that overall it is a really cool looking shuttle, and it can, like, the wings itself like can rotate around the cockpit, right? Like it. Or is that
correct?
A different one?
Yeah. The cockpit, it's almost like the B-wing, Nick, where the cockpit stays stationary and then the rest of the ship can rotate around it.
Yeah, I think that, like, in terms of like functionality, it's really cool. Like you mentioned, the like usability of it and like her ability to just like live in this for as long as she needed to was also pretty awesome. I love the color scheme. It's not the most elegant starfighter or shuttle or anything like that, but I think that the usability is good. I think it looks cool. I would say that this is probably another solid B tier for me.
All right, Nick's starting at B. I don't know, maybe it's my thing for Togrutas, lovely ladies in orange skin, or, you know, the fact that I just felt it was presented in a cool way in the Ahsoka series. It felt like other character ships. It felt like a Falcon, like a Ghost, just because of how, you know, Ahsoka, that was her home more or less. So I don't know, man. I like the look of it. I like its functionality. I'm going to override the B, and I think I'm putting this one in an A. You know, she's had a rough life. She got kicked out or left the order because they were dickheads to her. Now she's stuck on Peridia. The least we can do is try to make her feel better about her ship. So I'm going A tier on the T6. Base is going S tier. Sorry, Base. We're a little off. We're not connecting with you today on opinions. That's all right. We'll line up. Maybe this one here. You know, we saw it in the Phantom Menace. We got to hear it. We saw its ass end when, you know, Maul walked out and released his Sith probe droids. But we're talking about Darth Maul's Sith infiltrator. It kind of had that long body, but it was very clear that George was tipping his hand towards that TIE fighter aesthetic with its back end. So the hull was a ball, and then they had those wings that could kind of flap out or shutter in. And, you know, it had that cool, like, almost TIE fighter type of engine sound that has come to land on Naboo. So I'm a fan of Maul. The ship really doesn't make many appearances, but it leaves a lasting impression from the Phantom Menace. So what do you think, Nick, on Maul's Sith infiltrator here?
Yeah, scimitar is, I think, what it was.
Sorry, maybe the model of the ship is a Sith infiltrator.
Yeah, the model of the ship is the Sith infiltrator. I really like this ship. I really like the design of it. Like you were saying, there's like what would become like the design of like a TIE interceptor style of wing. You can see that they like shorten the nose, keep that ball cockpit, and then boom, you're really in that TIE zone. I think that overall, like we've seen fighting capability from the ship. We know that it maneuvers well. I think that this is like high A tier. I would put this like either high A tier or low S tier is the two areas where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you on that, Nick. I'm not going to fight you on that. Or the no overrides here. I do think it fits better in A just because of it's a cool ship, but it has a very small footprint. There are some cool ships that have small footprints that might be S tier. I don't feel like this one is it. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one at A. Sorry there, Darth Maul. You get cut in half and then your ship gets shit on, but it's an A tier for me. It's an A tier for me. All right, so next ship here. I've always liked this ship, just like the BTLB Y-Wing. George made the ARC 170 with the intention of like, oh, maybe the X-Wing kind of got some design ideas from this ship. We saw this predominantly in Revenge of the Sith, specifically in the opening when Oddball is tailing Obi-Wan and Anakin during the fight above Coruscant. And, Anakin wants to go help him. Obi-Wan's like, fuck those guys, they're clones. They're just meant to get blowed up. And sure enough, he gets blowed up and Oddball dies and his ARC 170 blows up. But I dig the ship. They've got their little S-foils. They got the very X-Wing looking engines there. Plus, they're for the clones. So, we got to love our clone bros, just like the BTLB Y-Wings. The clones were mostly piloting these. So, what do you think about the 170, Nick? Kind of the precursor to the X-Wing.
Yeah, I like the ARC 170 because I can remember playing space battles.
Kenobi. Nice to see you here. Sorry to talk shit about you and getting Oddball killed. Here.
I think that for me, the ARC 170 always reminds me of old school Battlefront 2 when the space battles were introduced.
Yeah, because they were in that ship. They were in that game, right?
They were in that game, and I remember playing ARC 170s a lot, and I was a huge fan of ARC 170s. I like the design style, like you said, really hints towards what we would see with X-Wings in the Rebellion era. The maneuverability was good. They had proton torpedoes. All that stuff was there, and big fan of the ARC 170. I would also put this ship in A tier, but I would entertain S if you felt thusly.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because this is one of those ships again. Great point on Battlefront. That was like, you're talking OG where you could be fighting on the ground, grab a ship, then fly up and land on their capital ship, right, and take that out too. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Like
they still have not brought that. They have not brought that back to modern Battlefront 2, right?
At least as far as I'm aware of. Like, I know that you can like fly crafts like above the battleground and like shoot missiles and stuff like that down on to the field, but like those like capital ship versus capital ship battles were awesome, dude. Like, you're taking out the life support systems, you take out the engines, like that style was super fun. I always enjoyed
that. Sorry for the tangent, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's a very strong A tier. Part of me wants to throw it up to S just for the nostalgia, but I can't do it. So it's the ARC 170s going A. All right, we have made it to our first OT era ship. These are going to be dangerous for me. I'm not going to lie. I definitely have rose-tinted glasses for a lot of things OT. But this one I'm talking about, it's just a fantastic ship. Very lightly used in the original trilogy. We kind of get more of the backstory of it through Lego Freemaker Adventures, I believe, where we learn why the B-Wing was created and things. But the B-Wing, man, what a cool fucking ship. I mean, you got the cockpit that's like the almost like the fulcrum point for everything else. Like, everything else rotates around that cockpit. And it's got one of the meanest weapons in the Rebel arsenal. We just got to see it in the New Republic's arsenal at the end of Skeleton Crew. Remember when they were blowing up the pirate ships? When that thing focuses its 4 or 5 beams or whatever, it can cut ships in half.
Yeah, dude. B-Wing is sick.
It's so odd looking. It doesn't even look like it should be able to fly, let alone land. I mean, it can fly as a flat wing. It can fly up and down with its wings out. I love it. So I think you know where I'm going with this one, Nick. But what do you say about the B-wing here?
Yeah, I remember seeing the B-wing for the first time when it descended and then it like spun on the way down. I was like, man, this ship is weird as hell. But then, yeah, like as you mentioned, like when we first get a look at it in like New Republic era and stuff like that, and it really beefs up its capability. I mean, I think that this ship is just super cool design wise. Obviously, the weaponry being more heavily explored and us seeing like what it can really do even bumps it up further. So I would say that this may be the first S tier ship. I would, like the first time that we drop into an S.
You have spoken correctly, young Nick. This is 100% our first S tier ship. Like I said, call me a homer. It's going to be hard for me not to put most of the OT era ships in here just because they're so fucking classic. And they're literally the basis for every other ship design in Star Wars, if you think about it. I mean, we're going to be talking about a few ships here in a second that are literally were created to show how they evolved into what we saw in the original trilogy. So let me take a question here from League. League's asking, is the B-Wing Luthen ship? No, Luthen ship is the Fondor Hallcraft. And don't worry, we'll be talking about that one as well. The B-Wing was a part of the Rebel Alliance fleet, along with the A's, the Y's, and the X's. And I even believe the B-Wing pilot wore like a dark green suit in Return of the Jedi, just to show you how deep my sickness goes with Star Wars. Thank you. All right, this next one here is very interesting. You probably got to see it more in the Clone Wars cartoon, but there's definitely a great moment watching it kind of take flight during an escape in Attack of the Clones, and then his arrival on Coruscant in the Machine District to go meet with Sidious. But young Nick, I'm talking about Count Dooku's Solar Sailor, which I believe the Geonosians gave him because it has a very similar hull to a Geonosian starfighter. But what's so cool about this ship, Nick, is that once it gets into space, it literally launches a massive solar sail, and I'm assuming that's how it gets around. Maybe that's how it gets into hyperspace. But I always liked how it sounded and looked when it deployed its sail. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to include it here. I'm not saying that means it deserves a high tier ranking, but I do think this ship needed to be discussed. So what do you say about Dooku's Solar Sailor?
Yeah, like you said, not as often seen as other ships. I think the design is super cool.
Cool sound.
We've never seen it. We've never seen if it has combat capability, right? I don't know if we.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has basics, but I think it's built more to get away fast than to fight.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards like B tier on this one. I think that there's some limited capability to it. Like obviously you're not going to be able to like nimbly dodge things in this ship since you're mostly being pulled along by solar winds through space, and the combat capabilities, just looking it up on Wikipedia. It says the Solar Sailor was equipped with conventional repulsor lift, and the tractor beam emitters along the bow prongs could serve as steering aids. Spread of ray shields and particle shield energies around the prongs could additionally be adjusted to provide extra mobility, but no weaponry
so
that I can see.
It's more of a shuttle. All right.
Light armed, so 84 narrow beam tractor repulsor emitters along the bow. Yeah, so it's just like there was no no dedicated weaponry from what I've seen.
All right. Yeah.
So I would say B tier.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Looking at C tier with Kylo Ren's command shuttle, it deserves to still be by itself. So yeah, we're taking Dooku up to the B. I think that's fair for him. All right, another prequel era ship, one that definitely stands out. Got a little love a couple years ago in the Mando series when Pelimoto retrofitted one for our boy Din and his dude Grogu. We're, of course, talking about the N1 starfighter from Naboo's fleet. Anakin piloted one. He blew up a droid control ship from the Trade Federation. It's got that chrome front, the yellow paint. It's got a droid hatch, a spot for a pilot. Again, another ship that has a great engine sound. It's very quick. When you spin, they're amazing to see. They perform great in a spin maneuver. And like I said, a little kid can pilot one and blow up a complete capital ship. So they're impressive to say the least, and they seem very easy to use nonetheless. So I know where I would put the N1, Nick. What about you? I mean, I know it's from TPM, not everyone's favorite prequel, but it's a damn fine and sexy looking Starship.
I love the N1, dude. I love the N1. I want to put it in S tier just because of what you've meant. Like, we've seen it, good maneuverability, good speed, good weaponry, good. I mean, like, you could see it had multiple types of weaponry, which is oftentimes you don't even see that on TIE fighters. Like, TIE fighters, standard TIEs
don't have torpedoes. It had lasers. I mean, like League saying, we got to agree with League. N1 is the Lamborghini of ships, 100%.
Dude, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm leaning towards S tier. It took out like you said, the droid control ship. Mando and Grogu were rocking one.
I mean, we could argue he's driving the coolest modded N1 in the galaxy. I mean, that thing's like a hot rod N1 with even more weapons and more space. So, I mean, come on, the N1 Starfighter. Say what you will about us in the prequels. In fact, TPM is my favorite prequel, so it's an easy choice. The N1 is going up there with the B-wing. Okay, sticking in the Phantom Menace and sticking with Naboo Starcraft, we have Queen Amidala's Naboo Royal Transport. So the ship she escapes on in the Phantom Menace that her loyal droid fixes so they actually can hit hyperspace and go to Tatooine, where she can prey on a young slave boy, in fact, in Watto's shop here. So, I mean, come on. This is even sexier looking than the N1. I mean, it's almost like a female body. I hate to say that, but
I know
it's got curves. It's smooth. It's shiny. The whole thing's fucking chrome. It's fast. It's sleek. I mean, what other words can I use to describe this starship?
J-type 327 Nubian Royal Starship. Yes. So I love the visuals of this ship. The visuals of this thing are just so beautiful. It's like an incredible ship to look at. The only thing that will knock it is it's a pleasure vessel. It's a yacht type ship. There is no weaponry to be seen. As we know, they were going through the blockade, could not fire back, had to completely rely on the astromech droids to hopefully get this thing shields back up so it didn't just get blown out of the sky. I will say A tier for this just because it lacks any level of weaponry, but it is a beauty to behold.
Hey, is this true? We got Maddie Palanca up here. Phasma also makes her armor out of that hull. Is that like a real thing? Because if so, that's kind of cool.
Dude, that's actually pretty sick if that is true. I could see it just because of that like chrome style.
Well, stuff. And the First Order like sticking it together. We're gonna go take on Naboo and fuck up Padme's ship that's in the museum or something like that. That's like a very fascist thing to do. So if that's real, Palanca, I dig it. Hell, it doesn't have to be real. This is a Star Wars time show. We're all about making shit up, so that works. All right. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm going A tier on this as well. It's cool as hell to look at, but that's about it. I mean, it took one little shot to a panel and it almost exploded, so its shields clearly suck as well. All right. But
not the best defense.
It looks sexy, so it's going A tier. All right. Well, this one showed up a few years after TPM, about 10 to be exact, 11. Start of the Clone Wars. They needed a Republic Navy. They needed capital ships, so they settled on the Republic Star Cruiser, which, like I said, was clearly designed in a way to give us OT fans the roadmap. Like, oh, that's why the Empire built their Star Destroyers to look like that. That's what they were using during the Clone Wars. So, I mean, the fact that it's the predecessor to the Star Destroyer, which is clearly a very iconic starship in Star Wars, there's a lot of great moments in the Clone Wars series that take place on these Republic cruisers, specifically at the end, season 7. I mean, season 7. Those 2 episodes that ended out where Ahsoka and Rex are trying to essentially survive an onslaught of murderous clones, and they crash it to the ground and then hold a funeral for all of them. It's got some narrative weight to it. Clearly, it's a behemoth when it comes to battles. We see it go It broadsides with some of the CIS ships and rots. So I really do dig it. Love the design. Loved how it was used. It's definitely a very memorable ship from the Clone War era.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a huge fan of Jedi Star Cruiser, or not Jedi, Republic Star Cruiser. I like the design, like you said, reminiscent of what we will get in the future with Star Destroyers. Weaponry is good. Lots of awesome moments. I think that this is a solid A tier. And look, if you've ever been on a tier list ranking with the Star Wars Time Show, they may not all end up with even numbers here. We like things, and we may rank them high. I think that the Jedi or the Republic Star Cruiser is A tier. A tier, not quite that S tier, but yeah.
Close. I know people would probably get off if you and I were fighting more over this. I think Connor and Seth are good at kind of having varying opinions. Maybe they're young, dumb, and full of that stuff, as we like to say. You and I are just getting old and docile. But I can't really argue this out of A tier. I mean, I think its predecessor is S tier just because how iconic it is. I mean, that's the first thing you ever see the first time you watch A New Hope. So there's a different case for a Star Destroyer to be made. But I'm with you, man. I think the Republic Cruiser is a solid A, but not quite enough to get up there to S tier.
Yes.
All right. A tier is growing. We love the A's, that's for sure. T and A's, as Nick likes to say. All right, this next one I'm probably going to have to explain a little bit. It is mostly featured in the Clone Wars. It is one of the many shuttles that showed up in the Clone Wars. This is one of those shuttles where it could actually pick up like a crate of shit and drop it off. I'm not talking about the LAT yet. It's a Republic Clone War era shuttle. It kind of looks like an Omicron class shuttle or the Marauder from the Bad Batch, but not quite there. It's got some of the gunship vibes to it, but outside of that, it's pretty plain Jane and uninspiring. So I kind of already have an idea where I would put this. It's just nothing really stands out to me, Nick.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, like you said, it kind of just looks like, like they shelled out a bit of an ARC 170, or like doesn't really have like a unique style to it. Almost just looks like it was kind of thrown together for a specific purpose. I would say that this is like C tier scrap metal level.
Yeah. I think scrap metal's about to get some company, to be honest with you, because a lot of sites had this on their list. I was like, okay, but I was like, I can't really remember specific episodes where this would have been used. It doesn't stand out. It's a hunk of junk, aka scrap metal material. Right.
All right.
We're loving the Republic era, okay? We're still back in the Clone Wars with this next one. We're looking at one of these CIS capital ships. It's not necessarily Grievous's Malevolence, but kind of know what we're talking about here. I mean, Nick, they look like sharks in space, at least to me. Like the CIS ships, they look like sharks because they almost have they got like the snoot. They have a mouth pointed. Almost. They were very powerful. They could go toe to toe with a Republic cruiser, if not wipe them off the face of space. We saw in the Malevolence arc that one had a very specialized weapon on it where it shoot out this electrical pulse which disables all the Republic ships, and then they use its lasers to shred them. So they were very comparable fighting machines. They didn't win the war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they didn't win the Battle of Coruscant.
Yeah.
So they might look cool, but they definitely were outclassed. So what do you think about these CIS capital ships?
Yeah, so I'm
Based
looking
and brazen
like,
saying they're ugly as F. So there's
it's like you really have to like that style. It is much more of like an organic design style, almost similar to what you would see from Home One. Like Home One has that same kind of like oval-ish type of shape. It doesn't look as menacing as these do. I'm leaning towards I think I'm leaning towards B tier on this. Just given like what we've seen of it, and like we know it's like battle capabilities are okay. Like they typically got outshot in the like the space battles from what I can remember. I feel like the Republic starfighter or the Republic starfighters were better. So I would say like B tier. I'm not a huge fan of the design aspect of it. It almost like probably thrown together with minimal resources, but hey, you're Confederacy of Independent States. You don't have a ton of money like the Republic does, but
if anything,
B tier.
They're pretty resilient because Anakin lands half of one and survives. So you know that's pretty impressive. But yeah, I'm with you, man. This could be B or C to me. But since you led with a B, I'm gonna go ahead and let you give some glory to the CIS capital ship. So there we go. It goes into that B tier. Okay. Still back here in the prequel era, we're looking at the Trade Federation droid control ship. Not only do they house vulture droids to fight in space, but they're also the brains for any battalions of battle droids fighting on the ground. So they're very impressive in terms of their battle capabilities just through command, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We also know it's got plenty of its own lasers to defend from incoming small craft attack, although Anakin was able to sneak right into one of its hangars and blew the shit out of it from the inside out. But that's the only way they were able to take that down. And hopefully everyone remembers that. Without Anakin's heroics and getting inside to where he could actually blow up the engines, the N1s were useless against this control ship. So if it weren't for Anakin, this thing stays floating up there. The droids keep fighting the Gungans and murdering them down low. And Padme loses her bid to retake Naboo. So there is that for the control ship, Nick. I'll leave it to you to kind of set the ranking discussion.
Yeah, it's interesting on this one because it's not like a mobile craft, right? Like it's not moving around. It's not really like dipping, ducking, and dodging like the rest of the ships that we've talked about thus far.
Very space stationy.
Yeah, very, very immobile, even more so than the capital ships that we've discussed. My initial thought was C tier because, you know, it eventually gets taken out. It didn't even seem like it had like shields or anything. Like it has a very robust hull that's hard to break through if you're just talking about little lasers pinging off of it. But if a capital ship was to roll up and then hit this thing with some heavy munitions, I feel like it would shred. Like you said, Anakin was able to make his way into the hangar and then just like randomly wherever he stopped, just like shot some missiles out and blew this thing up from the inside. So I would say, given its limited mobility and the fact that it could be taken out by a mere force sensitive child, I will put this at C tier.
That's fair. That's fair. Is what I meant to say. But I do want to remind everyone the center ball can detach and land on the surface, as we saw in Attack of the Clones when Obi gets there and he sees all the balls landed. Then when the war starts, they all start taking off to get to their rings. But that doesn't help it too much. Nick is right. The control ship is C tier at best. At best. Okay. At best. Well, we just talked about them because they live on these droid control ships, but we're talking about the Vulture droid, which was literally a droid that looked like a starship. Remember, they stand on their wings when they're in their hangar, and they have heads, and they talk too, just like the B1s and the B2s. That's George for you. But then they can just get up and take off and start flying and rip off some laser fire and really present some issues to the Republic or in Phantom Menace, that Naboo Navy. So, I mean, the fact that it's a living sort of starship is kind of cool. You know, a starship that has a personality and can talk to its wingmen without a pilot. That's kind of neat. But outside of that, what do you think about the Vulture?
Dude, I was actually a big fan of the Vulture. Multiple types of weaponry, very maneuverable. Like you said, it's essentially a drone, like a drone nowadays, where it's unmanned, completely run by artificial intelligence.
Yeah, except these are like self-aware drones.
Yeah,
these guys.
I'm leaning towards A tier on this one because we've seen them do some nasty stuff in the air. We know that they can maneuver, and we know that they can shoot, and we know that like there are essentially no lives at risk if one
Yeah.
goes down. So I'm putting it pretty high.
Yeah, man, I think that's a good argument. I mean, hell, the fact that it's a starship that can fly and walk, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, pretty
you
crazy.
know? The good guys don't have any walking starships last time I checked. So
I don't think so.
I can agree with
so.
you. I think that's a solid A. That is a solid A on the Vulture. All right, here's one where I kind of waffled. Like, should we or shouldn't we? I mean, we do know it can fly. It can go through hyperspace. I mean, it left Jeddah and showed up at Scarif in time to blow up Krennic. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tarkin's favorite toy to steal from his colleagues, and that is Death Star 1. It was a massive space station that took damn near decades to build. It has now become one of the main narratives in the Andor series, and obviously it was the big bad in A New Hope. I mean, it was literally a space station the size of a fucking moon that could get around anywhere the Empire needed it and could nuke a planet to literal smithereens at the push of a button and some green light coming out of its focused disc. So, is it a starship? Probably not. But it definitely flies. It's not just stationary, so it's not just a space station. So it made this list. It's cool as fuck. It's one of the most iconic things that floats in space in all of sci-fi and fantasy. So what do you say about the Death Star, Nick? You saying,
Man,
fuck you, this doesn't even count, scrap metal it? Or you know what? I love that big ball. Let's get it in S tier.
Purely from a practical standpoint, we have seen how ineffective the Death Star is at purely protecting itself, right? Like,
not good.
It definitely houses a fleet. Like it houses the TIE fighters that protect it if there is small craft that are coming in. We know that the turbo lasers are super easy to avoid. The only one that fucked that up was Porkins because he's fat, couldn't see where he's going. Like,
can't check.
But we ultimately know that it's defenseless. It's a defenseless ball that's hanging out there.
Which is crazy. Like,
I know.
The funny thing is, it's defenseless against snub fighters, and they didn't fix that flaw in between 1 and 2. Like, they still got taken out by little ships that could fly inside of it. You saw what Death Star 2 was doing to the capital ships. It was fucking zapping them right out of the air. But let's not worry about
way
X-Wings.
Less energy to power up. Like Death Star 2 took way less energy to power up the beam, could take out the big ships, but like you're not just going to fight against 18 big ships. Like they're coming at you with the little guys, and they just never
that imperial
were able
arrogance,
to,
man. They're bigger is better. Yeah. They thought wrong.
Thrawn told TIE defenders that was the key, but they didn't want to do it. I will put Death Star in C tier. Because it does one thing good. It does one thing good, which is blow up big shit, which is cool. But you got to be able to. You can't defend itself against small ships, and if you get ambushed by a bunch of small ships, which never happened. Like the rebels were never able to successfully ambush a Death Star. If they were, they would have fucking knocked it out easy. Every time that they've taken out a Death Star, the Empire knew they were coming, and they still got it, and they still took it out.
I know.
So that's what I'm saying. C tier.
Shit, man. I mean, he made a lot of good arguments. This is where my nostalgia is really fighting me here because it's the Death Star, man. It's the Death Star.
I know.
It's a ship that's the size of a moon, as Obi-Wan said. He said, "That's no moon.
That's no moon.
That's a goddamn battle station, people." And it has gotten a little bit more lore added to it through Rogue One and Andor, which is cool. Damn, C tier, man. Just its place in movie history almost throws it into S tier.
I know this is the first one where I'm testing you. I'm like, are we gonna be able?
I can't do C, but I'm not gonna jump all the way to S because that would be offensive to young Nick. So as much as I don't want to do it, I think Death Star 1 is going B tier.
All right.
I'll compromise a little bit with you on that one, young Nick. So, all right, fair enough. You did lay out a good argument against it, though. I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of stupid. It is It may be a technological tear on paper, but it definitely was not in action. So
yeah,
oh boy.
not super great in action.
All right, next one here. Going back to the Clone Wars, and it's a droid ship. It's called a Tri-Fighter, I believe, is what they called it. I think we might have seen some on the Battle of Kashyyyk, possibly the Battle of Coruscant. I'm really grasping at straws to remember where this one was used. Obviously, it looks cool as fuck. I mean, it's got a little hull, and then there's 3 wings around it, so it kind of forms like a triangle, or almost looks like a Triforce. If you know how Triforce, the middle's always hauled out. I remember them sounding cool, but outside of that, like my lack of memories for this ship is kind of already leading my rank for it. So what do you think about this one?
So what I can remember of this one, it was like the reason that it was cool is because it has blasters attached to every wing, I guess you'd call it, like and it has one in the middle. So I may be making this up, but what it would do is it would spin when it would shoot, and it would shoot really fast. So it's like shooting out like crazy spirals of like.
Hey Nick, is this the one?
Stuff.
I think I'm just putting this into my mind because I'm thinking about now. Is this the one that releases the buzz droids, or is that a Vulture?
I think the Vulture releases the buzz droids. Yeah, I think the Vulture does that.
But yeah, I know. I mean,
Tri-Fighters
looks cool, fights cool, but is it really tickling your Starship taint at all?
I'm leaning between B and A just because I like the design of it. I like the design of it. I remember seeing it in combat and thought like, man, this is cool. It's not as maneuverable as the other, CIS fighter that we talked about, but it was still pretty cool. So I could say like high B. I think high B for this one just because of
all right. Yeah, I can agree with B on that one. A was pushing it for me. I might have gave it to you if you really wanted to fight a bit more on it, but I think a high B we can agree on that one. All right. I know Nick knows this one. He has to know this one. He's a Legends fan. He loves KOTOR. I don't know if it shows up in SWTOR. It showed up many years later in SWGO. We're talking about the Ebon Hawk. Right? This belonged to, what the hell was his name? Karth, right?
Yeah, Karth Onasi.
Karth Onasi. It's really the ship you use in KOTOR, right? So when you're revving, this is kind of your ship because Karth is driving you around. I mean, it's freighterish looking, so it's kind of got that oval roundness to it, like a Falcon or an Outrider. It's got that orange splash paint on it. It kind of has a defined hull and 2 little arms sticking out. But unless you've played the games or you got into SWGO and space battles and whatnot, you might not even be familiar with this ship. So I know you are, Nick. What do you think about the Ebon Hawk? It's got a cool name, if anything.
Yeah, Ebon Hawk, super fun name. Almost like a proto Millennium Falcon type of design.
Yeah, like that freighter look.
Yeah, but not as cool as the Falcon. Let's be real here. From what I can remember, it's like it's another one of those things where it's like weaponry was decent, but not like super memorable. Like it's cool because it was the ship that you bummed around in KOTOR, which is like leading me to go like B tier with it because it's not nearly as cool. I'm like weighing it against the A tier stuff. I don't know, maybe low A tier at most, but I feel like it's pretty solid B to me.
Yeah, I can agree on B. I think A is a little too high. Like you said, I mean, it's cool. It's your main vehicle in KOTOR, so it definitely has nostalgia to it. But it's just not as cool as our other disc-shaped ships. So I think a B is fair for the Ebon Hawk. Yeah, all right, this is probably the biggest ship in all of Star Wars. It literally dwarfs super Star Destroyers and regular Star Destroyers. We're talking about the Supremacy, or Snoke/Palpatine ship in The Last Jedi that gets unceremoniously split in half by the Holdo maneuver. All right, so it really the only way to fuck it up is ramming another capital ship into it at hyperspace speeds. outside of that, it seems pretty impervious. It's like a flying city in space. I mean, it is absolutely massive. So for it's the sheer scale of it, it's a memorable ship. But and really the way it goes out, I mean, we could almost argue that the way it gets blowed up could factor into its overall rankings.
I know.
So what do you think on the supremacy?
That's kind of where I was going with it, dude. I actually really like this ship, and I think that the design of it is obviously like reminiscent of Star Destroyer design, except much wider, like you were saying. I think the look of it, like the design of it, is super cool looking. The size of it is awesome. I want to put this in like high A tier. I almost think that this is like an S tier ship because, like you said, they literally had to hyperspace another fucking ship at this thing to get rid of it, and like the stuff that went down on it was super cool. I mean, like, you could say whatever you want about like the practicality of the fight that happened on the supremacy between Rey and Kylo and then the Imperial Guard, but it was a cool looking fight. The way that it was destroyed was fucking awesome. The look of it's really cool. And I also like how when it's flying out there, it's almost like one of those big ass sharks where it's just got those small ships that are just like in its wake.
Oh yeah.
That are like
just absolutely. I mean, I know that the pictures are so damn small, it's stupid. But just go back to the movie. I mean, like I said, it makes Vader's Executor look like a toy ship. I mean, it makes it look like an ant. That's how big this thing is. So, you know what, man? I don't have any qualms putting that up in S tier. I don't.
Oh, right.
That'll
nice.
Get people,
there we go.
Get people riled up. Last Jedi shit, you losers.
What do you mean, Last Jedi?
You Disney shills. Okay. Well, I think this is going to be a pretty quick conversation here. It just depends on young Nick. But we're looking at Anakin's ETA-2 starfighter that he painted yellow, as Connor told me, to honor the color of his pod racer. Although I thought his pod racer was chrome and blue, but what do I know? And his engines were more orangey. But that, you know, that's how prequel fans are. They've got like fantastical images of their films from when they were kids. But let's be real, it's a fucking badass ship. I mean, again, it's kind of a precursor for a TIE fighter, TIE interceptor, if you will. It's got the wings that can flap up or flap down to give them greater control. You know, now this is pod racing. You got that type of stuff in there. You know, this is where the fun begins. I mean, come on. It opens Revenge of the Sith in that awesome space battle. It sounds cool. It's got a spot for R2. But it also has those Imperial vibes in the hull. I mean, the window is literally structured just like a TIE fighter would be. So yeah, I'm clearly high on the ETA-2. A lot of nostalgia. It's my man's ship, and it is cool as fuck looking. Let's be real.
I mean, it's S tier.
Yeah,
let's not play around here. Like this is
no reason to beat around the bush on this one. So
yeah, no. I mean, this is iconic level Jedi Starfighter Anakin ship. Like this is some stuff that, you know, was the coolest ship that you had ever, like, individual fighter ship that you ever seen when you first saw it on screen. You were like, what the?
Do you still think it's one of the best single pilot fighters? Even
I think
more
it's
so
super
than like
cool.
An X-Wing, and
I think that like when it comes down to like purely from what I can remember from, again, like Battlefront 2 space missions and stuff like that, like the main downfall of it was there was no, like, the shields on it were pretty weak. Like it didn't have great shields, and it didn't have, because it was being piloted by Jedi, it didn't have protons, like auto lock-on proton torpedoes.
Yeah, because that's why they wore those like bronze or gold headpieces, because they'd essentially like tune into the Force, into the ship's systems.
Yeah, exactly. So like the weaponry is not as good as an X-Wing, but I think like it was the most maneuverable ship that we've ever seen. Like
we saw what Skywalker could do in it, and you know, he's a pilot god. So
yeah, so watching somebody pilot that is just so fun. Anakin ship, S tier for sure.
Very cool. All right, it's up there. It's up there. Everyone, don't worry. Everyone, calm down. Young kids, or you 30-year-olds, calm down. We're not talking shit. We're not talking shit. All right, next one, definitely one of my favorite ships from the OT era, especially its demise when it just nosedives into the side of Death Star 2. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what I'm going to call it now. It's spelled Executor. I've heard people call it the Executor. We're talking about Vader's Super Star Destroyer that we first see in Empire Strikes Back and then, like I said, blows up in Return of the Jedi. But, I know we were just saying it doesn't even compare in size to Snoke's Supremacy, but up until The Last Jedi, this was the biggest fucking capital ship around. I mean, it was absolutely massive. Again, it could be flanked by Star Destroyers and make them look small. It dwarfed anything in the Rebel Alliance's fleet. And it was Vader's whip. I mean, come on. It's called the Executor. Exactly. Let's be real. This thing reaped a lot of horrific things across the galaxy before it blowed up. So this one's easy for me, Nick. You got a counter argument on the Executor here or Executor?
I just can't. Yeah, I just can't do it. It's S tier. I mean, it's like just the visuals of it. Like I love the blue glow around
but then it has orange engines, right? Remember, its engine color was different than the Star Destroyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool design. It like takes this like the standard Star Destroyer design and like sleekens it, makes it a little bit longer. And it is like, it's almost like a dagger that comes down into Death Star 2 and just fucking obliterates it.
All because the shields were down and an A-wing crash lands through the hall into Piet's face.
That's right. There you go.
All right, good stuff here. Ah, shit. You know what a ship I should have put up for the Superstar for just a regular Star Destroyer when we get there? I should have put up the Chimera instead of just a basic Star Destroyer. But we all know what I meant. Anyways, next one here. I don't even know if Nick knows which ship this is. I might have to remind a lot of people. This is Khmer's ship, and if you look at it, we could argue, Nick, that it's a different type of Sith infiltrator. It had a very similar shape to it. His front was just different. It was open, and he kind of had two wings on the side where the cockpits were at. But it did have those dual cockpits, as we saw. It definitely followed the Sith aesthetic in terms of the ships they fly. We didn't get to see it do much. I mean, when it was crash landing on that, what was it, Kofor or whatever the planet was, where all the crazy shit went down. No, I already forget the names. My brain's so shitty anymore. What do you think? Did you like Khmer's ship? Is it scrap metal? Does it belong in any of the tiers?
Yeah, I'm like trying to find like some decent pictures of it. I think it's called the Exile 2.
All right.
And I mean, it was kind of like you said, like it wasn't quite like I'm kind of leaning like B-C tier. Like if you really look at like that ship and like how it looks, and it looks pretty fragile for lack of a better term.
Yeah, there's a lot of hull missing.
Yeah, like there's a lot of open space. It's not a very big ship from what I can remember. Sleek starship owned by the Sith known as Stranger, aka Khmer. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is anything that's super impressive, so I would like my lean is like, B, like low B, maybe even C tier.
You know what, dude? If Khmer wasn't piloting it, I'd probably throw it in scrap metal. So let's go with C on this one. I think.
There we go.
It gets a bump because of its pilot. That's about it.
Yeah. I don't think it was anything special.
All right.
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of it in action in season 2, but we got plenty of it in season 1 when it single-handedly takes down an Imperial cruiser. We're talking about Luthen's Fondor Hallcraft that he had so tricked out. I mean, you remember he shredded their communications array with like these little ball bearings almost. It flies like a motherfucker. It dog fights like a motherfucker. It sounds like a motherfucker. How many motherfuckers can I say at once before we get banned? I love the shit, man. I remember when we watched season 1 of Andor, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, look at Luthen's ship! It's awesome. It's one of the coolest new ships we've seen." And I still feel that way, even though it was relegated as a set piece in season 2 for a few scenes between Andor and Luthen. But I love the Fondor Hallcraft, especially its little ball computer. It's got Luthen's wigs and wardrobe in it. It's kick ass to me.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. Just because we haven't seen a ton of it, I'm leaning A over S. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely up there. I think that what we saw of it was super impressive. In my opinion, it's not like the sleekest looking ship. I mean,
No,
it looks
yeah.
cool.
It's boxy.
Um,
It's a little boxy.
yeah, little boxy, not as like aesthetically pleasing as some of the other ones, but it's got it where it counts, coming from Han Solo. But I would say A tier. I would say A tier for this.
Oh, damn it. Nick, I can't get that action scene out of my head from season 1 where he literally takes on that cruiser and lives easily and dogfights 2 ties. Just one man piloting it too. So yeah, I guess I can agree on A the more I think about it. Yeah, fuck it. For the sake of time, we'll A tier Luth and ship. Doesn't make me feel good. But, sometimes you got to compromise on shows like this. All right, next ship here. I think it first popped up in the Clone Wars. We then got to see it in live action in The Mandalorian. Then, of course, in Season 3 when Bo became a main player. But we're talking about the Mandalorian Gauntlet, specifically Bo-Katan's ship. They kind of had an angular shape to them, but they also can land and flip their wings up. They're more than just a starfighter. They seem like an actual ship. It's not just a snub fighter that's meant to dogfight and then go dock with its mothership. I mean, it is a ship. It is Bo's ship, and she is essentially the queen of that planet she was hanging out on. So it's a Mandalorian class starship, so it's probably loaded to the gills with defensive and offensive capabilities. It looks cool. Its wings can change their direction, and we did see it in action a bit in The Mandalorian. So I love the Gauntlet. What do you think about these Mando ships?
Yeah, I'm leaning A tier on this one too. I really like the design of it. I mean, it almost looks like what's the name of the energy blade in Halo, like to a certain degree. Like
Nick, I'm realizing today I'm either in serious brain fog or I need to go get a dementia check because I cannot recall shit right now. I even forgot who played Dooku for like 20 minutes. I could not regurgitate Christopher Lee. So
Mr. Lee's name, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't comment with any certainty here.
I can't. Like I was
today.
Halo energy, so I think it's just called an energy sword. Yeah, that's all it is. Just called an energy
it's
sword.
very angular and kind of axe head looking as well. So
yeah, very sharp. I love the design of it. I mean, like I'm leaning like high, like high A tier. I really like the design of this ship. I know that it has really good battle capability. I like the design of this ship. And I know that Luthen ship is probably better in terms of like fighting capability, but I love the way that the Gauntlet looks. I think the look of it is super nice.
I'm with you. It earns an A. All right, next up, we talked about the solar sail. Now we got their actual fighters, the Geonosian starfighters. Very minimalistic, okay, as an insect-like race probably would go with. So I do appreciate that. It's essentially, it looks like 2 sharp pieces of bread levitating with a glass globe in between them. It really is kind of a very cool design. I don't know how practical it was because it looks like you get one shot on the cockpit and the whole thing will explode because it's just a fishbowl. They were fast. They had purple lasers, which was kind of different. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of experience with them through Swago, but that's about it. Outside of that, they show up a little bit in the Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones, but they are kind of cool looking. Outside of that, what do you say here?
From what I can remember, these things got blasted apart pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I also think that they have like a really low rate of fire. Like they don't shoot very fast. It's like boo, boo, boo. Like they're not like formidable fighters. The design's cool. I'm gonna put this one in C tier. Fucking Geonosian junk is what this is.
You're not just throwing it down to scrap metal. You give it a little.
I got somebody in mind for scrap metal, and this may be the one.
No, you're right. It's not complete shit, but yeah, it's C tier. Well, speaking of complete shit, I kind of got ahead of myself here. But we've got the Rebel transport. You see in at the end of the Battle of Hoth, it's away, and they're like, yay, because the ion cannon cleared some space. So it's literally just a transport ship. It clearly sucks at defending itself because it needs an ion blast just to get out of there. They're not very fast. I don't know what type of weaponry they have. But it kind of, to me, especially the picture I'm looking at, again, it looks like
I've lost Matt. I can't hear you. I can't hear
me. No.
Oh, no.
No.
Let me see in here.
What do you think?
I will say this, though. Let's see. For this one in particular, I'm going to say that I think that it's probably scrap metal because it can't really do anything. Like you said, it has to be taken over by somebody else. Like there's no way, or it has to be protected by other ships to be able to make its way out. So for that one in particular, I'm going to say that likely scrap metal because it can't protect itself. It needs somebody else to really take over and protect it as it leaves. It's too big. It's just really slow moving. Yeah. So I'm going to say that one is scrap metal. And I think I might be able to fix my audio.
All right. Let me know if you.
All right. Now
you're good.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So we're good.
Was that? Did you like bump something, or is that our fucked up control room just doing what it wants to?
No, I think. Yeah, I think just my headset just disconnected for a second, or my earbuds just disconnected. But I'm good now.
You almost gave me a heart attack. But yeah, screw this thing. It sucks. Like I said, I mean, it looks like a floating whale, and it moves like a whale. So that's a scrap metaler. All right,
scrap metal.
This next one we only saw it once, but it has a very iconic moment in Rogue One. We're talking about the Hammerhead Corvette, which literally was built to just ram into other Star Destroyers or other big ships, and it's this little tiny Corvette, and it manages to push a Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer, which cascades into Scarif's shield wall to open it up to ensure that the message can be transmitted from Jyn and Cassian. It's a very cool moment. It's a great visual, and the fact that the Rebels built a ship literally to just ram into the bigger Imperial ships speaks volumes about their ingenuity and their just desire to win. So it has great moments, even though it was very sparsely used in Star Wars canon.
Yeah, I'd say pound for pound, this thing is like the strongest ship that we've ever seen. Like you said, like just pure pushing power, takes on a Star Destroyer on its own and like you said, pushes it into another, causes incredible. To me, I think this is A tier. Easy. Like,
just for its capabilities and what we see it do in Rogue One, it goes A tier. And yeah, we are speeding things up a little bit, people. We have to, so bear with us here. All right, we've got Akbar's ship, the Home One. I know you talked about it earlier. It's very organic looking, as a lot of Rebellion ships were when you compare them to the more industrial Imperial aesthetic. But it's just like a long cigar with bumps on it. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah.
It gets itself in the traps all the time. It does not seem to be very capable in going toe-to-toe with a Star Destroyer unless it has its X-Wings defending it, Y-Wings defending it. Really, I think the coolest thing about it is that Akbar was the admiral on it. Outside of that, yes, it's very iconic, but it's pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, we've never seen this thing fire any defensive shots, or at least that I'm aware of, that I remember. Like we've never seen it defend itself in any way. It doesn't really look cool. Kind of looks like a hunk of poo just hanging out in.
You're right. It's a
space.
lumpy turd. It is. You're right. That's
like,
perfect.
It's like I'm putting this in scrap metal. You can call me crazy all you want.
The iconic Home One, Akbar's
the home
flagship. The ship that won the Rebels, the Battle of Endor, scrap metal.
Hey man, the ship that won the Battle of Endor for the Rebels, that was the Millennium Falcon, baby, all the way.
And Wedge's X-wing, because remember, Wedge had to shoot the energy before the Falcon could blow up the ball. Yeah. All right, you know what?
No,
I'm not going to fight you on it. You the fact that you described it as a turd, I think warrants scrap metal. So sorry, Akbar. this is not a trap. Your ship sucks. Okay. There's plenty of TIE fighters in the Imperial Navy. This one is the TIE Bomber. It's one of the more unique looking TIE fighters because it's got it looks like a dual hull, but one is literally just where all the bombs come out of. So, I mean, it is a very wide looking TIE fighter. We saw it a little bit in Empire. We really got to see them in The Mandalorian during the Night of 1,000 Tears when it glassed Mandalore. I love TIE fighters, period. I like all their variants, and the TIE Bomber is no different. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think that this is like a B tier. I think that like good weapon capability, a little bit more sturdy than your standard TIE fighter. You have the curved wings, which gives it a little bit more maneuverability as well than standard TIE. So I'll go with B tier for the TIE Bomber, knowing how much destruction it has wrought upon.
Yeah, it is one of those ships that, like most bombers, needs support. So it's not like just a one ship wrecking crew. So yeah, I'll B tier the Bomber. All right, this one is the I believe it's an Imperial, something like a Gozen class cruiser. We've seen it in The Mandalorian. It's the ship that Bo-Katan and what's her name, Axe Woves, and the other girl, the wrestler lady. Yeah. They steal it in season 2, right? And it ends up in the Mandalorian fleet. We see it again in season 3. But I mean, you could have TIE fighters hanging off of it. It's kind of boxy looking, clearly. But what do you think about this one? This Imperial, I think Gozen class freighter.
Yeah. It's like a freighter ship, mostly used for like transport. I think it looks cool. I think that obviously it can
Gozanti,
hold a lot of
Gozanti class.
Yes, that sounds.
I'm thinking of Gozer
from
Ghostbusters.
From Ghostbusters. Yeah, Gozanti class transport shuttle, armored starship used for various factions. To me, I mean, I could see this being like, I don't know, man. I mean, like, not a lot of combat capability, good for moving stuff around. Armored,
it's like a fucking
heavily
bus,
armored,
right? It's like a tour bus almost.
That's why I feel like this is like a C tier ship. It doesn't look cool, doesn't do anything cool, just kind of carries people from one place to another.
I think the coolest thing about it is that it has like little TIE dingleberries hanging off of it. So yeah, I'm with you.
Just little TIE babies
on the Gozanti. All right, this should be an easy one because we just took a large dump on its predecessor. But we have the Raddus, which more or less had less lumps, but as Nick aptly described the Home One, these Mon Cal ships do resemble gray turds in space.
Yeah,
the fact that it was like running out of gas and it was in a race with the First Order. I don't know. I just the Raddus, outside of its namesake, we all speak your name, Admiral, and your sacrifice at the Battle of Scarif. But I think the Raddus could go down the scrap unless you want to save.
Yeah, I just think that these good
guy ships suck. At least the capital ships suck.
Dude, like the good guy, like bad guy capital ships, fucking Star Destroyers can fuck shit up.
Yes.
Like Home One, Raddus, they can't do anything without the ships around them. It's just like, why would you not give your primary cruisers some sort of battle capability? Like, I just don't understand that design choice. So yeah, scrap metal. Fuck this shit, man.
Right. See ya. Yeah,
learn how to defend yourself, Mon Cal ships. Do it.
The Mon Cal might be expert fleetsmen, but they suck at ship design, at least making them cool. Maybe we don't know something, maybe they're super powerful or slick, but from what's been put out there, they look dumb and they don't really ever perform the way the bad guys capital ships perform. All right, okay, we're going back to the Clone Wars, literally the Clone Wars. Yoda shows up in one. I think they're one of the coolest looking ships, sounding ships, performing ships of the prequel era. We're talking about the Republic gunship, aka the LAT. I love that you had clones sitting in like World War II era ball turrets. It had ball turrets in the front. You could land real quickly and drop off ground forces, or they could jump on and take off. It can go to space. It can, fight down on the ground. I just think it looks cool as shit. It's highly capable. and the clones pimp these things out. I mean, some of them would paint like shark faces on them. I love the Republic gunship, man.
Yeah, dude. Typically, like troop transport ships like this don't have the offensive capability that the Republic gunships have. So I'm putting it in S tier, dude. Like we've seen these things on the battlefield at Geonosis, like on Geonosis, just like literally take their fucking ball laser and cut other ground vehicles in half.
Exactly.
Like just, and then you, like you said too, like you have the people that are manning the turrets, but you're also like the sides open and you can fucking shoot out the sides like a helicopter. Just like all around.
It is a war machine. It is a war machine. The Republic knew how to make war machines, which should not surprise anyone because they end up making the Imperial fleet. So.
Exactly.
And the sound alone, man, it's like that. I mean, it's just got a great sound and engine. So yeah, the Republic gunship is an easy S tier selection. All right, this next one, it wasn't long for Star Wars, but it was majestic looking. We're talking about Padme's. I don't. Maybe this is a cruiser. I don't even know. I mean, but that big ass ship that opens Attack of the Clones, that lands on Coruscant and then is unceremoniously blowed up from the bounty hunters after Padme. But again, it's got that Naboo look. It's all chromed out. It's massive. It really feels kind of like a World War II era bomber with the 4 engines and all that fun stuff. It also has a great sound. But what do you think about the Padme's senatorial ship from AOTC?
Yeah, it's a cool looking ship for sure. Like there's no doubt that it's an awesome like visual representation of a ship. Can you hold on one sec? When somebody just walked in my house, I think.
All right, yeah, I'll keep rolling just to keep the time going. While Nick's gone, I mean, I think he was going to say, yeah, it looks cool, but looks aren't everything in life. So I'm taking Padme's senatorial ship to B tier. All right, the next one. This is I would say, the newest ship to grace the Star Wars fandom and the Star Wars franchise. And it had two forms. All right, it had 2 forms. It had its original form that we were first introduced to at the beginning of Skeleton Crew. And then it had its butterfly moment when it came out of that cocoon on its cocoon on Lapuna, and we got to see the true form of the Onyx Cinder. That's right, people. The Onyx Cinder is on this list, and quite frankly, while Nick is hopefully not getting stabbed or robbed, it really stands out to me. I mean, the ship was kind of a main character in Skeleton Crew as part of the main mystery. And the fact that it had that outer hull that we saw got eaten out, and then it birthed the more slick-looking ship that we learned were, for these special envoys to go to At-Aten to hit the treasury and whatnot. So, for the fact that the ship kind of had 2 forms, it's super sleek, it's fast, it's a specialized aircraft for special missions. I absolutely adore the Onyx Cinder. It was one of my favorite parts of the Skeleton Crew, and how, like other Star Wars properties, it was a character in itself that actually went through growth. I mean, Nick, I was saying, the Onyx Cinder started as one ship that we thought it was, and it was kind of cool then. And then we saw it got eaten, and it birthed its actual form, and it got even cooler at that point. So I love the Onyx Cinder. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think that Onyx Cinder is definitely an S tier ship. I think that the multiple forms of it for sure lends itself to being one of the most unique ships we've ever seen in Star Wars. Clearly has crazy battle capability, a true pirate ship in Star Wars. I think that this is S tier, I would say.
It's awesome. Like I said, it was one of the standouts from Skeleton Crew. All right, next one, kind of legendy here. It's Dash Rendar's ship, the Outrider. I mean, obviously nods to the Falcon. I believe it's another Corellian-made ship, so it's got kind of those vent panels on the back and the blue engine light. It is kind of cool looking. I mean, I know it's a ship that shows up in Swago. Not sure elsewhere you get looks at it outside of maybe comics or Legends books. So do you like Dash's ship, or is this a turd bag?
Not too familiar with it, but I mean, cool design, definitely like a precursor to, again, like you were saying, those Corellian YT freighters, like the Falcon. I think that it's probably like Dash himself is like another like super good pilot. I'm leaning like maybe high B, low A tier.
Yeah, I'll do B just because of its lack of exposure in actual canon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
next one. I'm sure a lot of people struggled to figure out what it is, but this is the Phantom 2. This is like the ship that can detach from the Ghost. The reason it's called the 2 is because it's actually a repurposed Trade Federation shuttle, which it kind of gives it some extra bonus because it's got some history. But it's a cool little ship. I mean, we saw it most recently in Ahsoka when Hera and Chopper were on Corellia, kind of chasing after the bad guys, and Chopper's wanting to blow up all of Corellia to try and stop them. The fact that it can dock on top of the Ghost and kind of seal in, so it's quasi-transformer-like. But outside of that, I mean, it's mostly like nostalgia and functionality for this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards B tier for this one because, like you said, it really can't like get around by itself. Like it has limited mobile capabilities. Like obviously decent in a dogfight, especially if it's like deployed off the Ghost and they're fighting together. And it's got a decent little design to it. But yeah, I would still say like B tier.
Yeah,
Just given
I'll
it's
do
like
B
limited,
just because it's
mobility.
part of the Ghost, and I think Sabine would pilot it a lot. Chopper loves riding in it. All right, next one here. Again, it might not be clear, but this is Kyle Katarn's upgraded ship. He used to fly the Moldy Crow, as I found in my research. Great ship name. But he upgraded to the Ravenclaw, which I believe is what he's driving in the Jedi Academy games, Nick. So it's a pretty sleek ship. It's very, very thin with 2 big engines at the back. Not much to it. What do you think of the Ravenclaw?
Yeah, I mean it's a cool looking ship for sure. I don't remember much of its capabilities. It's kind of got like a downturned nose to it. Almost like semi reminiscent um of like the scimitar in certain ways with its coloration, like black and red coloration, so pretty cool looking. I would probably say like B tier for this one as well, just because I'm not super familiar with its capabilities. But it does look cool.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like when we used to have Concords here on Earth. It kind of looks like that, but from Star Wars.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can B tier that one just for its look. All right, we're gonna have to pick this pace up. So some of these, Nick, are gonna be rapid fire unless we need to
Oh
talk
yeah.
about them. But up next, it's the Razor Crest. I mean, S
It's
tier, right? I mean, it's
S tier. It's the
there's
S tier,
no
baby,
debate
for
here.
sure. Yeah,
Amando Mugshot's
absolutely.
got a good comment on this one coming up. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he describes it perfectly. All right, next up, I always wondered like how the hell this thing even flies and why it would be designed this way, because it looks like it could be cut in half with a pair of scissors. But I'm talking about
Yeah.
the Rebellion frigate, kind of their
Yeah,
medical frigate, which just had a very skinny little. It looks like a bar that connects its engine to its hull.
yeah, this is another one where I was like, again, like how does it even fly? It almost looks more like a space station.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this in C tier, dude. If this is your like, you have to be like, I understand it's a medical frigate, but you got to be able to move if you're trying to help people.
Yeah, that
like,
thing looks so slow, even in space. I know doesn't
Yeah.
one gets fucked up pretty early on in The Last Jedi. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
C tier, borderline scrap metal. All right, moving back to the Wing series, we got the A-Wing, one of the fastest of the Rebellion ships. They make them all the way to the sequel era. You can argue one of them was responsible for taking out Vader's Super Star Destroyer because the dude kamikazed it. Did you like the A-Wing when compared to its wing brethren?
Dude, big fan of the A-Wing. Big fan of the A-Wing design. Very similar to Jedi Starfighters. I'm gonna put this in A.
All right,
along with its name.
A-Wing for A tier. I think that is very apropos. All right, we got 3 seasons of this one. It's an Omicron class shuttle called the Marauder. We know our Bad Batchers used it as their home for a while until they ended up on that goofy island. But it's one of the cooler looking shuttles from the Republic era. It's very angular, triangular. It's got that pointy hull. Gonki lived on it. Omega had her little room there. I mean, it was almost like a home. So what do you think about the Marauder?
Marauder, yeah. I mean, I love the Marauder. I think that this was something that really stood out in terms of like Bad Batch and them having their own space, like you were saying. So I say Marauder is A tier as well.
Yeah, A tier. I'll tell you what, this next one's going to be quick. We just got to see it in action. It kicked off Andor Season 2 for us. It was kind of a comic introduction, the way Andor was stealing it. But the fact that it has its own turbo lasers and you can use them on ground troops that are 20 yards away, it just looks so fucking rad. We're talking about the TIE Avenger, man. I mean, I think looks alone, how it was portrayed in Andor, it may be an easy S tier.
I think it's S tier as well. Yeah, you got to put it up there. Put it up there.
Same for this next one, man. I mean, it's just like it's not even worth debating. It's such a classic and iconic ship. I mean, we could argue that its design's kind of silly that you have to take off staring up into the sky. But that's also part of its charm, the way the Slave One has to be piloted. Literally, like you're essentially floating in the ship as you're piloting it. So Slave One, I mean, it made it through Django and in the Clone Wars era, the prequel era, all the way up into we're now in the, I don't want to say the Mandoverse era. It's still out there, still kicking. I mean, it's got the seismic charge. That's all you need to know for S tier, right?
Yeah, S tier indeed.
Next one, you could argue I probably should have left this for ground vehicles because I do not know if snow speeders can fly in space, but
yeah, I don't think that that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if they can solo fly in
either way. I fucked it up, but it was one of my most favorite ships from the OT. I always wanted the toy, never could get it. My dad had the cool miniature, never would let me open the box. I've always been mesmerized by the snow speeder. So even though it's illegal on this list, I'm still holding it in high regard. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I really like. It's an iconic ship, right? Like this thing took down AT-ATs.
It's S tier. I mean, it's S tier.
S tier.
Easy.
S tier.
Easy
Even though
S
it can't fly in space, S tier.
Here's another one, and I teased it earlier. The Imperial Star Destroyer. It literally kicked off Star Wars for everyone in '77. It's the first thing you see coming over. Well, I guess the Corellian Corvette's the first thing you see, but then you see this hulking beast come through. Look how damn cool they are. I mean, to me, there's like a great white shark feel to it. They're almost a face in them. Star Destroyer, S tier.
S tier.
Yeah, easy. S tier. You know what? I just talked about it. It too should get the same credit that the Star Destroyer gets, but Leia's Corellian Corvette that makes it all the way to the end of Tross is also S tier, just through its nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's where the Death Star plans. I mean, that kicked off Star Wars for a generation.
Yeah, for everybody.
Hey, spoiler alert, another S tier. We've got another famous freighter. I've got the 118 scale or the 118 scale sitting right next to me right now, and it is Hera's Ghost.
Yeah, of course.
S tier. Okay, this one might not be familiar, but this is Palpatine's Theta-class shuttle that he used to go pick up Anakin. So it kind of looks like the Marauder, but it is different. His hull is all glass. You know, we really only get to see it as he picks up Anakin, then drops him off on Coruscant. So not a lot of shelf life for Palpatine's clone or prequel era shuttle. What do you think here? Scrap, CD?
I would say B tier. I mean, it's, you know, like you said, similar to design to the Marauder. We didn't get to see it much, but we know that Palpy probably had that thing tricked out in some way if he's bumping around.
I mean, listen, a lot of these shuttles look rad. I love shuttles, and when we get to the Lambda class, it's instantly going S tier. But before that, we've got a lot of ties to get through real quick. TIE Defender, you get it in Rebels. You know, you've heard about it through some of the Thrawn stories. He argued this would have been the way to beat the Rebel Alliance, not a Death Star. And if he was the actual Thrawn and not Tic Tac Thrawn, we know he's probably right. So they got the 3 wings on the TIE. They got defensive capabilities, offensive capabilities, and I believe hyperspace. So what do you think about the Defender, Nick?
I think it's A. I wish we would have gotten to see more of it, because I do think that changes the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's more of an A. Now, this TIE...
Here's where I insult you.
Okay. The traditional TIE fighter, very basic, one of the most iconic sounds in film, I believe. Like it literally sounds like it's screaming at you. It's like a dying animal or something. But very basic, very flat, and very limited, as Nick said. I mean, they had no hyperdrive. They didn't have any shields, so they could be very fast, but they are also very deadly for their pilots. But I love the TIE Fighter. It's an S tier to me. So let's hear why it is not to young Nick.
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal for the fucking TIE Fighter?
These motherfuckers have... When have you ever seen a TIE do anything cool other than blow up mid-flight,
I cannot
run
agree
into
with
walls?
This. Cannot
These
agree
people,
with this.
The TIE fighters to me are like the bozo ships where they're like, we'll just throw this out there. Bozo ship. Not even Vader rides a regular TIE.
Hey, are your headphones broken again? Your headphones are broken. You can't hear me, right? You didn't hear what I just said about that ship, did you?
Scrap. I agree that the sound is good, but the fighting capability, bad. I say scrap metal, but we could meet in the middle somewhere on this, Matt. I feel like.
Oh, dude, fuck the middle. We're going 2/3 on my side. I can't put this. Right. I can't even put the TIE Fighter in C tier. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
We'll do A tier. I will compromise.
Okay,
but I want people to know my stance.
There, he's got it out. It's on record. He is doing this begrudgingly. I would have put the TIE Fighter in the S tier, but I will acquiesce and drop it to A. Next up, the TIE Interceptor. This is one of the more mean-looking ones. It's got the split wings, very badass, kind of prototype-y. I don't know. I've honestly, I think the Interceptor is cooler than the TIE Fighter. So that's me. Where are you then? Do you S tier the Interceptor, or is it still below S?
I think that Interceptor should be A tier 2 along with the TIE. I do agree that the Interceptor is far cooler than the TIE and more maneuverable and better in battle. So there we go. All right. That's
well, we're now looking at Kylo's TIE Silencer, which seems to be heavily influenced by the Interceptor or the Avenger. The difference here is the hull is a little more squared off, not as rounded, and he's got that red tinted glass, which does add some flair. So what do you think about Kylo's whip?
I think it's S tier. I really love this ship. I love the design. Obviously, very maneuverable, very good in a fight. I mean, he took out the what was it? It was the rat. I mean, he took out the Raddus with this ship.
Almost like his mom. He shot his mom out. He did not. He took out the Raddus's hangar. Then his wingmen ended up opening fire on the hull. But yeah, I mean, it's a badass ship. S tier.
Yeah,
it really is cool. It is cool. All right, next one here. You got to see him a little bit in the Battle of Scarif. These are the TIE Reapers.
Yes, TIE Reapers. Also sick ship. Much better than TIE Fighter.
Man, I will hate the TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighters, man. Every time I see one, it's blowing up for some reason. TIE Reapers, not as cool as Interceptors. I will say B tier.
Yeah, I agree. Reaper goes to the B. This next one, 1000% scrap metal. These are the resistant bombers.
These
literally drop bombs, magnetic bombs, to qualify because they would just float away in space. And they all get blowed up but one, and even that one gets blowed up, but it still is able to drop off as payload. But yeah, the resistance bombers, I think, are scrappy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I agree with that for sure.
All right, we just got to see this one in Andor Season 2. We didn't learn how he came upon it, but we saw him flying it and taking it without the leadership on Yavin 4 being too pleased. We're talking about the U-Wing, which is, it's sleek, it's cool, it's got those wings that fold out to kind of go in the hyperspace. The only people we know that were really on one, or we know Cassian and K2 piloted one. They did great things on it. I think you see a few others in Rogue One, but it is one of the cooler wing ships.
Yeah, I love the deployable wings, like you said. So I'm A or S tier here. I think that this ship has a lot of good maneuverability, a lot of good fighting capability. We've seen some cool shit done with it. So A or S for me.
Yeah, I'll do A on the U-Wing. I don't love it that much to throw it in the S, but it definitely deserves A. This one is a no shit Sherlock. I mean, it's the Millennium Falcon. So
yeah, I mean, it should be its own tier.
Yeah, this is like God tier. Anyone want to fight us on this one? I didn't think so.
No fights here.
Yeah, I mean, wait for question of the week. There's a clear winner on that. This is same argument I think can be made for the next few ships as well. We're now looking at Vader's TIE Advanced. Only he flew this type of TIE. Even though he kind of gets spun out in A New Hope, he still looks badass in it. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks. It looks even better when it's flanked by 2 TIE fighters. So Vader's TIE Advanced to me is S tier.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
We have to, or he would force choke us.
Yeah.
Nick, you might argue with me on this one, but I've always been a mega fan of
shuttle
the Lambda
Tidarium.
Class shuttle, in particular shuttle Tidarium from Return of the Jedi. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks. I love the way the wings fold up to land and then fold out to fly. I just think it epitomizes the Imperial aesthetic. I absolutely am in love with this shuttle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that since there's no battle capability, I'll say A, but I do think that this is the prototypical Imperial transport.
Yeah, I think
ship, so.
for it being the only shuttle that we have a lot of love for, I'm bumping him up to S. He's going up there. S tier is loaded. And it's about to get another compatriot here, because I'm sorry, but the X-Wing is S tier. There's really no argument made. I mean, Nick, personally, I probably appreciate the X-Wing more than the Falcon.
I mean, the X-Wing took down 2 Death Stars. Took down Death Star 1 and Death Star 2. We've seen it blow up so many of those scrap metal TIE fighters. That
Luke Skywalker's ship of choice, Red 5. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Of course. I mean, too many famous pilots Wedge Antilles, Biggs flew X-Wing. Everybody, all your favorites flew X-Wing. Poe Dameron, X-Wing
Ray ends
fighter.
up with Red 5. So yeah, I mean, the X-Wing, I don't care which version of it, is S tier.
Indeed.
Okay, the Rebel era Y-Wing. You know, we kind of kicked off this talk an hour ago about its predecessor in the BTLB, and we put that down in B tier. I do prefer the Y-Wing, the Rebel Y-Wing, just because, like I said, it looks unfinished. I mean, its back half looks like they're just like, you know what, fuck it. We don't need to finish building the engines. It drops bombs. That's all we needed to do.
Yeah, it's almost like they were designing it, and they were like, no, we need to go now, and they're like, send it out, it'll fly.
Yeah, shit'll work.
I say A tier.
Yeah,
right. I say A tier. For Y-Wing.
I'm with you. It was never. It really didn't do much in the films at all, besides get blowed up or provide zero support on the trench run. And last but not least, we made it through all 60 of the most iconic starships from Star Wars, and it is a First Order Star Destroyer, a little bit bigger, a little bit squattier than an Imperial Star Destroyer, but nonetheless, it kind of maintained the aesthetic. It had that triangle look, but I'd say not as cool looking as the OG Star Destroyer. How about you?
I agree. I think that I would go A or B here, because I don't like the squat. It almost looks like a sandwich that somebody squished.
100%. Yeah, it looks like they just took it and smashed it in between their hands and tried to watch the bread reform itself. So I'm comfortable putting this one down at B tier and ending this segment. There's our list. I'll make sure to save it, and it'll be in the podcast post for this episode. But real quick, before we move into the fan segment to close out this episode, let's see what the fans voted on in our own poll, because we always share with our fans. So in S tier, they got Razor Crest, Death Star, Slave One, Star Destroyer, Falcon, ETA-2, LAT, Avenger, Ghost, OG TIE, there you go, Nick, U-Wing, X-Wing, N1, Republic Cruiser, TIE Interceptor, Imperial Shuttle. A tier, we've got the Corellian Corvette, Maul's ship, the Marauder, Vader ship, you bums, Ahsoka's ship, the BTLB Y-Wing, we've got Padme's ship, the Tri-Shooter, the Supremacy, the Executor, the TIE Bomber, the Silencer, the Y-Wing, the ARC-170, and a Snowspeeder. And B tier, B-Wing, Vulture, Khmer ship, the Radis, Padme's ship from Clones, Palpatine shuttle, the Reaper, the Gauntlet, Home One, the Fondor, the Outrider, the Frigate, the First Order Destroyer, and Kylo's command shuttle. And C tier, they got the Geonosian Fighter, the Ravenclaw, that goofy shuttle from Clone Wars, the CIS ship, droid ship, Ebenhawk, Gozanti, the Phantom 2, A-Wing in C. Wow. Defender in C.
Wow. Defender in C.
The Resistance bomber in C. That's too much. And Luthen's Fondor in C. Holy crap!
Wow.
You guys are evil.
These people don't know what they're talking about. They put the Hammerhead in scrap metal.
Yeah.
The Hammerhead took on.
Come on, you people are mean.
People,
okay, you guys are mean. Yeah, and the scrap metal, like Nick said, we got the Hammerhead, the Rebel transport ship, and Count Dooku's Solar Sailor. So thanks for playing along, but now it's time to close out this episode with our fan segment. We do it every week. There's 2 ways to get into it. We got the question of the week, which we will post on our social feeds. Just make sure you're following and you have notifications turned on for our posts. We just ask you a question related to our main topic. So naturally this week we wanted to know from the fans, what's your favorite starship, Nick? So what did they have to say in response?
All right. Michael Kramer, Mac122198 says, my most favorite starship has to be the Millennium Falcon because it was the very first toy starship I've ever owned.
Lucky
and it
Michael.
Got me into Star Wars.
There you go. Fair enough.
Good stuff. Toyverse Rick says Millennium Falcon and B-Wing. Boom. There we go. Max Maldini, it has to be the Millennium Falcon for me. We know that Leeds Neural Core was integrated with the Corellian Fighter's nav system computer, and its calculations are a real advantage for being fast and precise. The ship is a character in itself, so iconic, the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, and so important to the OT.
Max brought notes. Max brought notes, that's for sure.
He had the notes. Mando Mugshot says, for me, it's got to be the Razor Crest, not as iconic as some of the OT ships, but it's just so practical, like a big old RV.
See, I told you Mugshots had a good little anecdote about
that was a good one.
Crest.
That Geek JB says Outrider and A-Wing.
Right,
he's a big A-Wing fan. I understand that. Star Wars fan art ES says very difficult. 1, Slave 1, 2, Millennium Falcon, 3, Razor Crest, 4, X-Wing.
That's a good list.
There we go.
A lot of S tier.
EKU Rory.
Look at this guy.
EKU Rory says, does Jar Jar have a ship? He was on Padme's ship. He was on the J-type Nubian.
Slap dick.
Yeah. But he says Falcon for sure.
All right.
League of Extraordinary Sixers, she says Razor Crest, Ahsoka's T6, Kylo's TIE Silencer, Millennium Falcon, and the Ghost.
All right.
There we
good
go.
Line
good
up
stuff.
there from League.
Beyond the Dune Sea, they're giving you a preview of their list.
Right.
They say easiest question ever. Anakin's ETA-2 Jedi Starfighter that he painted yellow to pay homage to his pod racer on Tatooine. Good.
I think we gotta check Connor. Connor might be colorblind because there's no yellow on Anakin's pod racer.
I think it's just the very end of the engines.
Yeah, but if you look at them, it's like an orange almost.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you got your TV set. It's an orange or yellow, maybe. All right. Yeah, it's close. It's close. GT Arts Fett says Slave 1. Says it right in his name. Fett fan. Phil. My buddy Phil says Obi ship in episode 2 is number 1 for me. Second is Slave 1. Honorable mention, the Phantom TIE. There we go. Good stuff from Phil. And then Based and Brazen, aka B Matt, says top 3: Ghost, Falcon, Anakin's ETA-2. Boom.
So it's a lot of coverage. I mean, it's very clear where the fans' hearts lie when it comes to Starships. Oh, yeah.
Millennium Falcon always up there. So thank you all for responding to the question of the week. Get involved. Follow us at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram or on our YouTube or on our Discord. We pull them all from there. Next up, we have the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Same thing. Follow us at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram and tag us. Tag at StarWarsTime.show on your Star Wars Instagram posts. First up in the top 5 this week is JZHZ6669 hitting us with
masterpiece.
Awesome posters that he makes. So JZHZ is incredible at making these posters, and what we see up front is an Ahsoka poster with the with Thrawn in the middle and his crazy stormtroopers at his side. Do they have a specific name where they like
They're
the
like the zombie troopers? Who cares? I
yeah
mean, you got Captain Enoch is in the lead. I mean, dude, this
is
looks like JZHD was invited to set to take a picture of that scene. I mean, I'm sorry.
I know, dude.
And these are hot toys, but it's like, hot damn. He did one from Galen Urso too that looks just as
Yeah,
good.
he's got a Galen one too. Sick stuff here from JZHD.
This is poster
Make
shit
sure
here, man. This is we need JZHD to start contributing some wall art.
Right. I mean, sell the prints, baby.
Awesome.
Sell the prints.
Awesome.
Incredible stuff. Next up, we got Commander Green, and Commander Green is showing us a little bit of love for the Bad Batch. We see Rekka wrecking it, taking out one of his fellow clone troopers after the turn has happened.
Commando punch. It's a good little capture of a good punch to the face.
Yeah.
From Commander Gree _N on the gram.
That's right. Next up, we got Dank Ferrick toys. Dank Ferrick's one of our faves over here, and he's hitting us with an awesome Darth Vader in motion shot. This is clearly on this is the same place where he was fighting Kenobi, so he's already like probably thrown Kenobi into that big rock hole, walking up towards him with the lightsaber ignited. Soft goods are whipping in the wind. Awesome looking shot of Vader here.
Yeah, man.
Dank Ferrick.
It's Vader. Toys. It's a good shot. What more can you ask for in life? So kudos to Dank Ferrick .toys on Instagram.
That's right. Next up, we got Paul.
Clickers, damn it.
Clickers. The last two of them are clickers. We got Paul Brown 12. Paul Brown 12 giving us a really cool Ahsoka shot, like at this little altar, candles lit, kneeling down, praying, paying homage to whatever it is that she is, trying to commune with here. Maybe this is what's going on, when she is in exile. She is praying to the Mortis gods or something. But I thought it was a really cool setup, really cool diorama here with Ahsoka as the centerpiece from Paul Brown 12.
Holy shit. Do you want to read our AI recap on Google? We have one.
Oh, man. What does it say?
This is kind of cool. Hold on. Let me port it over to the screen. People can see. Sorry, I know we're already going wrong here. I was trying to pull up Instagram so I could get the other one staged, but then I saw this. Look at this. All right, so Star Wars Time Show appears to be a name for a weekly stream and podcast that explores the Star Wars universe, potentially focusing on fan content and character analysis. It's not a specific Star Wars TV show or movie title, but rather a community-driven show or podcast that delves into the franchise. Here's what Star Wars Time Show might be. A weekly stream and podcast, yes. Fan content and analysis, yes. Potential themes, the show might delve into topics like character sacrifices, roles within the rebellion, plot holes, and character predictions, yes. Droids and their personalities. Look at us. To get a better understanding, you check out the Instagram page. All right, cool.
The AI has, there you go.
The AI has assimilated us. I like it.
Yes.
Not bad AI. Not bad, Gemini. That was pretty good. All right, Nick, I am back to Grease shot.
All right, yes. And then to close out this week's top 5, we have Grease 01 hitting us with an awesome look at some of our old school clone troopers before the turn to the Empire.
The 212.
In battle. Looks like they're on Utapau. This is Kenobi's unit, correct?
Nailed it.
Yes. There we go. Kenobi's unit coming to support him on Utapau while he's fighting General Grievous. Awesome looking shot from Grease 01 here. And hey, that's it. That's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of our show for this week. So Matt, go ahead and close us out.
Woo! All right, everyone. So I know that was a long one today. It's probably our longest one in quite some time. So I apologize, but it was fun. I mean, I like talking about Starship. So next week, tease you, we'll probably be doing another tier list here and possibly analyzing the coolest land vehicles. Right? Let's talk some AT-ST, land speeder bikes. You never know what'll make the list, but I'm thinking that's what we'll be doing next week. But you can always stay in tune with the Star Wars Time Show in between shows through our social networks on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, and TikTok. We post show clips daily, sometimes multiple clips a day. You never know what you're going to get from the SWTS. But we believe in the mantra that there's always time for Star Wars time, and we are here to ensure that Star Wars time is always a part of your life. So don't forget, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you. away.